and welcome. I'm your not-so-well game master GG, and this is Dice of Ages presenting CrestVahllen, the Argent Flame. Say hello.
That was chaotic.
I mean, it's a perfect example of our group right there. But
Say
Fortune and
hello
chaos.
to everybody, all my little convicts, please.
Hi, little
or
convict.
fugitives or whatever.
Yeah.
We're gonna do introduction just real quick, but we might just you guys know who we are now. So go ahead. You go this way.
All right. I'm Noelle. Today I'm playing Trishani Ankmut, the Maitan blade dancing wizard. And am I real or am I not? That is the question. Whether it's reasonable I'm a figment of someone's imagination, or is it more reasonable that I am my own person and able to warp reality to my design? Who knows?
I'm Adam. I play Zemdack, the gnome artificer, and in the future, I need you guys to make me shut up. We tried.
I'm Kenton. I play Argus Firebeard, our dwarf cleric of... Well, we'll find out.
I'm Cody. I play our bugbear warlock, Log Jammin'. A while back, I tried to warn you all about the dangers of letting a squid fucker come in your head. Unfortunately, a squid fucker, Pinky, has come in my head. So it's looking like, and I'm really not looking forward to this, but it's looking like Gall and I got to go back to the original plan when Pinky first showed up. Gall's going to have to pull a reach around while I beat him off.
Oh my god.
It's going to be hard, it's going to get messy, but it's got to be done.
Jesus Christ.
Come in the head, it always is.
give me a second. I need to get my composure back after that.
Hey, that's more of a test of where your mind goes than what he actually
Is
said.
it though?
Yeah.
Is it
No,
really
yeah.
though?
Yeah.
No, because that's not a double
No,
entendre.
that's
an
not how
intended
euphemisms
entendre.
work at all.
No, and it's canon that the
Hey.
original plan was for Gall to pull a reach around.
If
That
I
is
played
canon.
that in front of my kids, they wouldn't understand it.
Right.
Right.
I mean, that just
It's
tells how
beautiful.
stupid
Well, that's
kids
the
are.
whole thing about euphemisms. It makes your mind go to those bad spots. Hey, I'm Kevin. I play Cole Vodison, our bard and fucked up mind sorcerer. And you know, I've got one ball gag and two people who need to shut up around officials. There's only so much I can do.
I forgot you had that. That's Purdue as
Did you
ball
take
game.
it?
Yeah.
No, we have it somewhere. I think Eleazar has it, but yeah, we have the ball gag still.
It's important. Very important. Important information to know.
It's like that red one. Too.
Have-
It's not like,
ball
It's clear what it was for.
yeah.
Make sure you
Anyway.
write that one down.
All right, guys, welcome back. We don't really have too many announcements, do we? No announcements, right? I don't think so. No, we don't have really an announcement, so we're just going to move forward then. We'll be changing how we split up episodes just a little bit to keep it a little bit more truncated and easier to manage. But other than that, let's get into the recap of last time then, shall we? This is a long one. Please don't get mad at me if I don't get it right, because I only have so long that I can do a thing. So we'll see if I can get this. I'm going to auction person this one, so we'll see what happens. What are they called?
Auctioneer.
Auctioneer.
Thank you. My God, I'm not with it today. Woof. Okay, here we go. After Log is granted his wish to witness the traitor, his dreamscape succumbs to the insidious tendrils of the false wave. Yet Glottal taunts Log until the bugbear remembers his dominion over the dream and manifests a drainage plug to banish the entity. Unbeknownst to Log, his actions have unintended consequences. When he awakens, he is greeted by deafening silence, faint whispers, and only the rhythm of his own heartbeat. Konk and Shakar observe from the shadows as Log ponders the granted visions, reminders of his companion's caring watchfulness. Seeking solace, he turns his faintly glowing bracelet, but fears that Moonchild Tweg, his arcane abilities, and his original form shan't remain unaffected by his actions. Several hours later, the party stirs, discussing Log's dream, while the bugbear conceals the petrification of his foot from his companions. An ethereal puppy-like Moonchild and a highly advanced Magitech Tweg are discovered, now transformed by the Dreamweaver's deeds. After deliberation, the group decides to continue their journey, resuming on the back of the giant purple worm. They aim to emerge from the underground into the underground tunnel between Dondurol and Babas, just beyond the first Razorfang patrol checkpoint. Zemdack convinces Log to unveil his eye patch, exposing an ethereal star star-filled socket instead of an eternal flame. Curiosity arises as Argus suggests summoning Log's book in order to track the idol's location, but the attempt only results in manifesting a flawed holographic projection. Trisheni catches sight of a celestial text within the projection hinting at an orbital coordinates and telemetry records in an unfamiliar code. Amidst the confusion, memories of her time in the bunker surface, while the inference of a connection with something in orbit, possibly a satellite, is fathomed. Argus speculates that Tweg, now mechanical and seemingly latched subdermally onto Log, is communicating with one of the moons above. Log's attempt to dismiss Tweg to his pocket dimension only causes Tweg to shrink into a cube that fits in his pocket. Zemdack, fascinated by the intricacies of Tweg, observes its highly advanced and ornate yet functional design, surpassing current manufacturing capabilities. Notably, Tweg's spider-like appendages possess syringe-like features fed by unknown internal mechanisms. While the party continues traveling, Argus engages in communications with various family members and friends, resulting in mixed outcomes. One amusing encounter involves mentioning a blue fish fucker that had made a similar patriotic pact. Patronymic. Patronymic pact to a scoop, confusing the fearball cleric. The group playfully teases Trisheni about her existence, which, coupled with the extended time spent underground and the strain of their journey, causes her mind to momentarily unravel. Recognizing their unwitting contribution to her descent into madness, Zemdack assists, and the group grapples with the dilemma of how best to approach Babas. Papa Micah, one of Trisheni's fathers, sends coded messages warning the troop about the untarnished aggression and the pervasive influence of the Infertate. They speak words, twilight, tomb of the sun, although the precise meaning remains elusive. Meanwhile, Log experiences nights devoid of dreams until one evening his dreamscape transforms into a twilight reflection of his homelands within the Rubicon Plateau, featuring unfamiliar structures, renovations, and creatures he did not create. Log and Gaul, who mentions that Pinky has been improving telepathic communication, shares his vegetarian diet of soulless sheep. Gaul implores Log to preserve the current state of the dreamscape, specifically noting the presence of the talking wolf statue that assigned Gaul the designation of C-23. The statue has been using phrases such as mission accomplished, next orders, and submitting Pinky to psych evaluations as part of what it calls reintegration and reverse indoctrination. Driven by curiosity, Log engages with the enigmatic 15-foot tall wolf statue, questioning its allegiance, prompting the statue to demand higher authorization for classified information. Log learns that the wolf statue designates itself as F-29, a low-orbit satellite. It identifies Log as a metaphysical manifestor and discloses the new mechanical Tweg that serves as a foster program. Log queries the statue's intentions, triggering a beam-like connection and activating a flashback protocol. His visions reveal a fireball streaking across the sky that collides with the land, releasing tiny darts that disperse across the vast surroundings. Log, now awakened and still sweating from his after being latched down to some sort of mobile but bound platform, has growing concern about Pinky's true intentions and abilities with Log's dreamscape, while Zemdack re-examines Tweg's mechanical design. Deciphering intricate markings on Tweg, realizing they align with the script found on the well walls, through spellscraft, these are decoded to a creed etched that says persevere, foster, and thrive. Log attempts to connect to Tweg's vision, leading to an unexpected orbital perspective. As the group approaches the tunnel's wall, Ermgrim bids them farewell. Suspicious of the group's claims that the Mayitan was returning to their homeland after caught by several Crystal Bland, Zemdack's insistent curiosity of the Terrazine fighters' line of work backfires, and he unwittingly gets arrested a dozen miles into the perverse. Welcome back to CrestVahllen.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Oh, man. I had to do some editorialization, but that was good. All right. So, currently then, we are now back where we left off. We're going to do some underground here stuff. So, you guys are... some of the things that I wasn't able to mention is that, like, this metallic substance that you messed with, you tried to burn it. It was some sort of material that was, like, eating away, reverse 3D printing the cork that you had in a vial. You then injected it into your mimic, which then you realized, Log, that you were able to then warg into now his mimic. Weird. So, and you were arrested after talking too much, but you did find out a lot about Terrazine and its properties. You guys are still about a dozen miles away from the checkpoint that they are attempting to go to. If I remember correctly, there are 2 Crystal Brand?
Mm-hmm. 3. Mm-hmm.
3, right. One that seems to be talking more than the rest of them, but the other 2... Argus and Zemdack, you're familiar with these people, that they know what they're doing. They are some of the... rather than having, like, a standing army like they used to, because the Razorfang doesn't really have a need for it anymore. They're pretty self-contained, and they're not facing a threat of like they were of the ancient Elven Empire and that type of thing anymore. So, but the Crystal Brand are still very adequate military personnel that go through a lot of training and some arcane teachings as well in order to be on the Crystal Brand. Most of the time, I mean, it's up to you guys. Most of the time, you usually don't want to mess with the Crystal Brand. It's not somebody that you want to really like get into a fight with. Not only that, they have access to Terrazine, and who knows if they're going to use it or not. But they're also morally responsible. That's not something they would want to do. So I don't think at the moment, unless you guys say otherwise, that any of you are making any sudden moves to try to prevent Zemdack's arrest at the moment, because there's not really a whole lot, unless you say otherwise.
Can we hold off on this until we meet with your commander?
That's exactly what we're doing. We're holding off, and we're detaining him, and that's why we put him in manacles, so that we don't have to worry about chasing him down, and we're holding off until we reach our commander.
I mean, we're coming along with you. There was never any doubt of that, with or without the manacles.
And as there shouldn't be. Right, but now there's a different thing. You are being under suspicion of being where you're not supposed to be, and now your compatriot or your traveling companion is being under arrest for what he has divulged to us been something that we have been looking for him for.
At that point, very well. At the same time, I'm going to send over to Zemdack. You moron!
Do you continue asking questions? No, you clam up.
I mean, to be fair, a craftsman blowing himself up in his workshop doesn't seem like something that you guys would normally care about. It's not Terrazine. It's not a big crime. It's my master was an idiot and he blew himself up.
We don't make the laws, we just enforce them.
Yeah, but you're not. Never mind.
We even met your master.
We get our orders from the keeper and the triumvirate. As it should be.
What exact part of the code is he being arrested for? Can you cite that, please?
Destruction of triumvirate property.
Is it triumvirate property if it's his own master's private property?
Almost all artificers have benefactors in which then the triumvirate owns a large portion, if not the majority of percentage of the artificer's technology and property.
So
Can you prove that he actually is under one of the triumvirates?
No, that's why he's being detained. We are not judge, jury, and executioners. We are enforcers of the law. You will be given an opportunity to say your piece once there is someone who is present who is able to listen. Right now, that is not my job. My job is to bring you to those who can.
Very well.
Just take a look at the manacles and see if I can see if they're just normal manacles or if they're some sort of magic. Not touching them. Just
Sure, yeah. Go ahead. I want to say Arcana. I'm just saying, just roll perception for this everything, because I don't think you can do investigation because you can't really get into it.
I think an 8 max.
8?
Not even.
Doesn't
8.
look magical to you. Just looks like regular. They don't look like iron. They look like some sort of alloy composite. So meant to be able to detain people who have metallurgy skills of being able to morph metal and like meld stone and stuff like that. So they probably have some sort of other ally that it doesn't look like something you've seen before, as far as the alloy that it is, but probably something that prevents the manipulation of ore and stone. So that because of where you guys are, people have those types of abilities, so they have to be able to prevent that type of thing. So
he just
perhaps
literally admitted that he's that type of person.
that's something that actually as Zemdack. So perhaps some sort of like orichalcum in there with perhaps maybe even some like dust of like spent terrazine that you've seen in other types of things that prevent the type of manipulation that unless people really know what they're messing with. Granted, you guys have experience with that type of thing, but not manipulating it in the physical sense.
Right.
Other than forging it and melting it down. And I think Zemdack would probably be the one that would have the most, and probably Argus, because of what is Konk's power source. But without facilities in order to help with that, I don't think it's something that you'd be able to. You may be able to brute force them open, But through other magical means, it might be more difficult due to what the properties of spent terrazine, like particulates spread in materials, can do. They prevent divination. They are resistant to certain types of magic. They strengthen stuff. Maybe not physically, but magically. Anything else? Okay. You guys continue on. Eliezer doesn't look very happy about this situation and everything because Zemdack's his little buddy, and this is not really his favorite thing. But Eliezer is also, a somewhat lawful individual and has... You get the sense Eliezer's probably been arrested a couple times and found his way out of it at some point because he was, an urban bounty hunter. He has to bend the rules every once in a while. And from what you understand of his behavior, he's like, it's probably best just to play along with it right now, rather than dig ourselves deeper into a hole and then figure something else out later. If worse comes to worse, you guys, he gives you a look being like, I'm down for whatever it is that you guys want to try to pull, but I'm also down to wait as well. I'm not going to do anything rash. Cool.
I would like, 12 miles is a long time to be awkwardly walking in silence, so... it's, news is slow to travel. Do you guys know anything of what's going on? I am curious about my family, and
I'll roll a persuasion check.
And I still look like Machete right now, by the way.
Yeah, you look like her twin sister. Yeah. Do you walk like her twin sister?
As best as I can.
Okay.
I mean, you've seen
It's great because
her.
digigrate legs and you're just
Now, does she have her beach outfit on?
because that's the last.
I mean, we're going through the desert.
It's just a Maitan in a kini and just walking through the underground. My goodness.
That's
In a veiled tikini.
Nat 1, so...
Nat 1, no.
He doesn't like us right now.
I just need to shut up, too. I need one of those ball gags.
We're not at liberty to discuss ongoing investigations and states of other nations. That is, information we're not permitted to divulge, unfortunately. If you wish to file amnesty and refugee status and try to go back in order to be deported to this failed state, you're more than welcome to make that attempt. I can't imagine there's going to be a whole lot of
Sounds like a lot of work.
pushback on that, but it's your choice.
Okay. Do you think it would be... of course, it's my choice if I want to go back to the failed state, but given it's a failed state, I probably would still like to have my protection with me. So do you think it'd be okay still to get that sort of amnesty granted to these folks,
They
too?
are not citizens of the Mauritian lands.
Well, my sister is.
We do not recognize things like political... all other sense of political ties, whether it be agreements or otherwise, including protection status, do no longer apply.
Okay.
Because there are no laws that have been recognized. The nation has not been recognized. So, unfortunately,
Which is
it's
why
not up to me.
Which is why it's so important that we get through, so that way the story of what's going on there can make it out to the world, so they know what's going on.
Like I said, none of this is my decision. You probably have a good chance of getting through. I'm sure that you and your sister probably have a good chance of getting through. But the rest of you, I know who you are, and I very much doubt that Razorfang citizens are allowed through.
I mean, I hired all of them as bodyguards going into this sort of zone. I didn't know of any issues at the time.
Technically, this nation does not actually recognize the laws of the Bardic University or the Bardic community, and we neither recognize them as a nation. So, again, slim pickings and probably not the greatest chance.
Well, yeah, that's why we went with people who could hold their own. And people who knew the
It's a matter
area.
of national security, and that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm sorry.
I understand.
You hungry? You look hungry.
What type of food do you have?
Have some more rations. It's a long trip. I don't want you to get hungry.
I'll swap you one of these berries that will keep you full for a day for some of the real
Alright.
food that you have. So that's,
Nifty. Good berry?
yeah.
I have a sister in the hills that makes these.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, I miss fresh fruit. He gives you what looks like some dried poultry.
Sounds good. Anything but good berries.
It's a jerked jerky. Well, it's jerked.
Jerky.
It's jerked chicken.
I mean,
Jerky, jerked chicken.
from my experience, chickens are jerks, so that makes sense.
So
I
they
understand
jerky,
why you
jerk-
are what you are
jerks. All right. Cool.
Because you are what you eat?
now. Nope.
Did not say that.
Understand that they're. Yeah, the bird is showing. Anybody else hungry? We'll have to stop in a little bit anyway to set up camp for just an hour or two.
Aye.
So we've got some taters and tubers. Don't want you to be uncomfortable, but sorry, it's our job.
I think I'm okay for now. You know.
All right. Suit yourself. You guys travel for another few, maybe about 6 miles before they're like, all right, this is a good spot. And you see there are every once in a while like alcoves kind of carved out to the side for caravans because it's a long trip. So sometimes caravans have to set up and camp out and before let their horses feed, rest, camel, whatever their beasts of burden may be in order to rest, feed, rest people to rest, everything. So there's carved out sections for people to move out of the main thoroughfare and do so. And so they move into one of these. All of them are now, you haven't seen a single one that's been occupied. And the lighting here is now only like most of it is shut down. It's only like not every other light, but like every other light. And but you do see some remnants in this alcove of some canvas that's like kind of got cobwebs over it that's shoved into a corner, or some broken woods and a smashed wheel that got changed and then just left here. It's the remnants of an old campfire. You see, they're kind of like campsites too. They have built-in metal and stone spots for campfires and stuff like that. So there's definitely remnants of coal and ash here. You see one of them pull what looks like it's not a log. It's like not made of wood, but almost like a bulbous, oval, fungal-looking material that seems to be somewhat porous but also firm like wood that they just pull out of their sack and toss into the thing and then reach out their hand and just light it up and burns, and you smell umami in the air. And they start the campfire. It's like, all right, you sit over there so we keep a good eye on you. The rest of you, stay in the alcove, please. Don't try anything funny. I'd really rather not run after you or have to burn your clothes off. That would suck. So it's not really something don't want to deal with today.
Please don't burn up my backup clothes. I don't have another pair. I don't need to be in decent exposure.
And you know how hard it is for a bard to find a good outfit these days, you know.
Sure, yeah.
Argus, have you used that fire thing,
My,
the rest charm,
does anyone need it?
in a while? I don't know, these gentlemen might find it
Cool.
soothing.
Okay. I'll pull out my special flame, throw it in the fire.
Slowly.
Oh, it just makes rest more efficient.
Yeah.
Oh. Some sort of magitech or...
No.
Old artifact.
I'm actually going to use
Family
it because
artifact.
I took 6 damage last session.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys
Oh,
can
yeah.
take a short rest if you like.
It's just an old family artifact.
Well,
It's called a bonfire charm.
what do you do with it?
I put it in the fire, and then when we're done resting, I take it back out. It
All
just
right,
helps
slowly.
you have more rejuvenating rest.
Feels warm. You throw it in the fire? Mm-hmm. You toss it in the fire, and it, like, kind of, after it gets hot enough, it kind of
Lifts up.
buoys itself up and lines up and then sits in, like, the heart of where the flame is and just kind of floats there. And it gives off, like, a nice warmer, rather than the fire, when you're sitting next to a campfire, the heat is intense when it gets, and then it very quickly drops off. It's now more of, like, the whole area is warm and uniform. And not as, like, dreary, dark, and moist, and dank, and... Really? Why do you say you get that? Let's put it in nifty.
It's a family heirloom.
Right. It looks... If I had to guess, some dwarven make.
Yep.
Nice. What family?
I'm a part of the Firebeards.
Trash. Sounds a little familiar, but well, I'm not the genealogist like they are at Thulmorbed as much as my father tried to get me into it.
Who has time for that? It's a lot
Don't worry
of
about it.
random names
Great.
in your head.
Well, good for you.
Yeah. Hope you enjoy it.
You have any connections to the Triumvirate then?
No. Not anymore.
Any more?
Yeah. Random stuff happens, of course. All I hear
Right.
is about is random stories from grandparents, and great-grandparents. And who knows what's real and what's not? You know how stories go.
I mean, it's all real, but I know what you mean. It's all we ever listen to anyway. It's just about, like, oh, my father did this, my great-grandfather did this, my other clansman did this. It's just all about, like, yada, yada, yada. I mean,
Yeah.
it's great. Don't get me wrong. I love being here. I love being part of the community, but just sometimes.
How'd you get on this patrol so far away from Thulmorbed?
Well, this place needed tending to, so they sent a bunch of people out of here. It used to be stationed. Well, a few of us used to be stationed at more of the outskirts of the city center. We did some work in Minheim. We've done some work in Thulmorbed. We've been to Donderall a couple times. So, whoever happened to be closest when it happened were sent. The orders were reassigned, and so we're here. So we're also tired. We haven't been home for a while.
What is it that happened? Just that this is a big crazy takeover? What actually happened?
Some sort of crisis in Babos, from what we hear, caused some religious zealots to gain traction and support rather quickly due to some of the recent events, some sort of tragedy. And so quickly that a lot of the loyalists to the Primarch flipped and switched sides rather quickly. And rumor has it the Primarch said, fuck this, and left.
Well, it
Save their skin.
sounds a lot like what's been happening, like down in Keradim and Steerkrag and all those different places. There's been lots of upheavals lately.
Well, I hope not as much at those places. I mean, Keradim is under quarantine for obvious reasons.
Yeah,
and,
we'd heard about that.
Leadership's been shuffled around quite a few times, and
And there was the No Faith that just happened recently in Steerkrag and the change of leadership there.
yeah, I think that's more of an internal thing. But I heard about that. Times they are changing, I suppose. Not really my business to say, but let's just say we've been rather busy lately. And, people are talking about how resources might start getting tighter, and we want to start carving more notches in our belt soon. Which is, we've been there before, but we don't see light at the end of the tunnel right now, so we'll see.
Is there any good news like coming out of Keradim or anything new from there that you've heard of? I mean, you're rather remote out here. but-
Keradim finally actually settled on an actual elected, well, not elected, but a appointed official to actually take over and allow the standing captain to step down. So
Yeah, it was last time I was there. It was Warden. It was a female dwarf warden, right? Then is that changed? Did something happen?
right, they were put into stone because of no, they weren't put into stone. They didn't survive.
Kerig, that's the name. Warden Kerig was in charge,
Correct.
wasn't it?
They
Yeah.
did not. Unfortunately, they didn't survive the incursion that
Oh.
happened there, which is why the lieutenant took over. From what I'm sure you hear, the lieutenant who was the acting captain, then for quite a while has been able to step down as they figured out who else is going to take over.
Do you know who took over?
Someone, I think. One of the Triumvirate's family members was sent down there to try to that has a little bit more political and military experience, so to try to deal with it. I think someone with a little bit of medical experience as well.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
But then again, it was more of an emergency call to put down there. So who knows how long it's going to last? But it did allow who was currently dealing with it, the lieutenant, who by the grace of the Orkeeper did a great job and was able to prevent worse from happening in the interim. Speaking of which, they were sent out here with us as well. They were reassigned to try to keep up these borders with us.
That lieutenant is?
Yeah, that's who you taken you to.
Okay.
Well,
What are they
They're
like?
pretty much fronting the what do you call it? Not embargo, but blockade between the failed state right now and the channel.
at least the next time
They have the most military experience that was available at the moment. So
Last time, at least the next time I go down to, time I'm down in that area, I can go down to Keradim and check on my record at the
well, I
Gutbuster.
wouldn't recommend going down to Keradim anytime soon.
Oh, really? Still bad?
Still under quarantine. She's still yet to until we can find a cure to what ails the people that we've been interred into stone. Let's just say the powers that be are still uncomfortable and unsure whether everything's been entirely contained as of yet. Until we have a cure in hand, we prefer not to risk the increase in population there in order to cause the spread. All it takes is one person to then travel throughout and then spread it to another city, and then we have another outbreak.
So why did the lieutenants? There was no risk of them being.
Having
They're not
Carrier?
organic. Well, not in the conventional sense.
Okay.
Immune to such ailments, as far as I understand. One of the benefits of being, Zemdack.
yeah, that's true.
Although a little stiff for my tastes.
Oh, really?
But I'm sure their accolades speak for them, and they've been around since, from what rumor has it, back since the whole war, the Great War. So they've seen a lot. They know how to deal with invading forces, so that's why they were put here. Triumvirate made the decision. I think it was suggested by one of the new potential members. So.
I heard they were pretty brutal to anyone who steps out of line.
There have been some incidents.
I wonder how he's going to take having random people in this tunnel.
Yeah, that's why we're doing everything by the book.
I don't blame you. I've heard stories about him.
We've worked in the backwater a couple times, and sometimes things can get a little lax. So in a way, it's a little refreshing to have a little bit more of a hard ass, but at the same time, it's a little bit of a hard pain in the ass. So
I mean, the last time I was there, I'd heard about somebody who spontaneously combusting in their cells at Keradim under his watch and stuff.
I
That's
don't know anything about that, but
I'm sure he would have kept that covered up. I mean,
I heard it in the rumors on the street. It was just insane.
Well, you know, bards and their rumors.
How are the stories supposed to get out there if we don't spread the rumors? I'm
Sure,
sorry.
yeah, spread the rumors. You know, it's not like truth means anything, right?
Clink, clink.
Oh, right. Sorry. You probably need to... Let me put those in the front of you so you can help feed yourself. And they...
Feeding you?
Kind
you
of funny,
see
like.
one of them take out what looks like a terrazine encrusted key, or like it's you know how you see some of those cool wood tables that have like resin inlets that fill in the holes and the knots. It's like that. The key has parts of its anatomy that are just filled in by spent terrazine that go into the manacles and click and open them. Go like, all right, arms forward. You put your arms forward. Click them back on there. Put the key away. They start to warm up some stuff over the fire. It's very comfortable here. You guys get a nice short rest if you guys want to eat. They are able to cook some what looks like mushrooms, and the Crystal Brand are actually really well taken care of. Granted, you've heard from them that they are going to have to tighten their belts soon because of resources and everything, but they get some of the best imported stuff that's going on because the Razorfang takes care of their military forces, because it's one of the only reasons why they're still here from a long time ago. And it's kind of like, it's a very honorable position. It takes a lot of training. It takes a lot of expertise in order to do that. So they have things like fresh bird, and they have some jerked for rations, but they have fresh bird and fresh fruit. They have some vegetables like roots and tubers and carrots and potatoes. So you guys can eat pretty well there. They make a decently hearty stew. They make a little bit more than they would if it was just them, because they want to make sure they can feed you, but they have a good amount of food with them. It is a nice meal for the sake of what it is that you're doing. Like this is not, you're not dealing with underground rations. This is a nice, good, above ground, good, qualified meal.
Yeah, this stew could use some wine.
Go ahead.
Nothing. I was thinking to myself out loud. Sorry.
No, it's okay. If you say wine, they're like, we can't drink on the job, but cooked wine, maybe if we can cook all the alcohol out of it. But I'm sure you're aware we take our job very seriously. It's very important. I mean, we have a standard of excellence here, so.
Of course.
One of the other ones, this guy's the one that's been talking this whole time. One of the others was like, so why are you here anyway? Why are you walking this way?
We told you.
Right, to go back, but why this way? Why not just go through the proper paperwork? Why sneak through? Time for...
I didn't think that I would be able to get through as easily. I don't know. Like, I feel
You
like
have
there's
somewhere you need to be in a hurry?
Heard.
I'm worried about my family.
Yeah.
That's fair, I
I mean,
suppose.
wouldn't you also? Yeah.
Yes, I believe so.
We're worried about their
This
family.
was the closest entrance, and honestly, if another bard gets through before I do, it ruins the whole thing. It's no good being the one with the second
Right, so
one with the
ego and
story, not the
selfish
first one.
and actually selfless, one time to take care of their family. Okay, I understand. All right, I mean,
Sorry,
that's...
have you not met bards before?
No, it's fine. It's just, but have you not realized how you've been received by most people that are probably annoyed by your presence because of how many rules you circumvent and how much effort it took to place those? All right, just chill. All right, please, come on. We don't need any more trouble.
I mean, he is writing a very heartfult expose about the plights of the Mauritian people.
I don't need to know the information.
through
It's fine.
first-hand
I have no doubt what it is that they're doing. They've been tasked to do so. Otherwise, they wouldn't have the little bean that they carry around with them. I'm sure we have been told to respect it. It's fine. But forgive us if we are a little on edge from having to have always exceptions to rules that have been hammered into us for decades.
Oh, yeah, because, a non-free press is a great thing.
All right, you hungry?
I got some rations.
I mean, I'll still eat what they got.
it's good food.
Eat
It's spiced
Oh,
well.
it's way more rude to not eat their food.
Yeah, it's spiced very well. It's got a lot of nice umami and savory flavors in there.
Just enough to not be rude. Since they're doing the just barely not rude to me thing, I'm going to do the same thing. Just enough to not be rude.
So and there's plenty of food here. They do. These are not like asshole guards. The Crystal Brand is a noble profession. It is a very, very noble profession. One of their first tenets is to protect and serve the people, making sure that they will sacrifice an immense amount of property to Terrazine before they let a single life be taken by Terrazine. That is one of the tenets that they uphold. And so it's important to them that they make sure that you're taken care of. Now, granted, the information that you just got as to who they're taking to you with might be a little bit more unsettling. Yeah. So,
Oh yeah. No. While we're sitting there, I'm gonna be like going from mind to mind, going, okay. So do we actually want to meet security for?
No.
Fucking no.
Well,
I
then
still have his note.
then we need to get him out of there and get us out of here.
How do we get around all this?
I don't know. It'd be better if he didn't open if you didn't open your fucking mouth.
No,
Zemdack.
it's good. Now we know who he's taking us to, and now we can make a plan. Otherwise, we would be walking blind into who we're talking to.
Right.
Or we could just leave and go up
the
above.
the
It'd
other
be
thing
really
is
nice.
How would that work?
It's,
Well, I can't talk to you. Not
I know. I relay like we're.
this is just slow.
she can do message, but she still has to say it out loud. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can play telephone, so I do it a little bit close, not
Sure.
exactly.
How
You know,
could we
Cole is
even
not
get
that.
up above from where we're at?
I don't
Figure
know.
out a way. We can
But-
do it.
You know,
I just
he
used my
knows
two
that
big
we-
spells to get down here.
We know how to summon worms. I'm doing this all about. We know how to summon worms.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. We also know the fact that he knows that we didn't leave Narketidim correctly, if at all. He could send us right back there. All of us.
I don't.
He doesn't know how we left.
No, but he knows we left.
But he'll know us by
Right,
sight.
in a time of quarantine.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
No,
about.
he doesn't. He didn't see us.
They took our names when we entered the city, and they were
But
probably
you're
gonna
not
take
there
them when they
Well,
left.
anymore.
It's Argus and I,
mean,
are the
but
ones
you're
who would be
right.
most fucked because
Well, not you. Argus is fucked right now.
Well, no, but he was
Yeah.
looking
Right.
for a
Who? The
bugbear.
only people that I believe, the only people that were witnessed by security for were Zemdack.
No, they all went up to his office.
That's where I got arrested.
Yeah.
I got arrested
Who was not witnessed by security for?
because he was passed out drunk.
Right,
But-
but Log was me.
But I was impersonating
So
him.
technically,
He's seen literally everybody.
even like Eliezer was in the
Eliezer.
dungeon.
Yeah.
because he took his helmet off to do the big whole like.
Yeah,
He hasn't seen Moonchild,
he has no
true.
human child.
for what it's worth.
He's like a wolf pup right now. That's really great.
Dealing with security for is not something I want to deal with. I'm not ready to be a martyr.
Well, then do we... Yeah, you can talk with everybody, too. Just
You guys
I
are like
have that
slowly
option.
like sipping while making intense eye contact with each other.
Well, I'm just kind of doing this.
Yeah. I can see Cole being like,
Yeah, I'm just like looking around at everybody. Well, there's got to be something we can do. Like,
I don't want to get these guys killed by us dipping out on them.
I don't want to kill him either. They're nice guys.
it's a tough one, isn't it?
Right.
Because if we leave, if they've let security
we-
know, they're
from
gonna
what
be
you guys,
killed.
from what you guys told me, because I wasn't here for that, he brained somebody back before when they didn't do something the right way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, I did prepare that persuasive thing today, but I mean that only lasts for an hour.
There's 3 of them now.
Well, I could do it 3 times.
I can do one of them.
To fuck off. Yeah. Yeah. But it is still. It's not
I
good.
mean,
I mean, technically I could do 2, but then I'm out of everything for the day.
You're taking a short rest right now.
right. Like, still
Right,
out of everything.
yeah.
You get everything
Yeah,
back.
Logs is like,
Well, I haven't spent anything today, but once I do it to the 2 guys, then
And you gotta take
it's
a
nice
short
having a
rest.
warlock, isn't it?
I mean, I could try and do my illusion and have him run away, but we'd have to. I'm sure they're going to see me do it.
One of us could distract him while you do it.
Log, you want to go do your thing?
Which thing?
Just be a log. It happens.
I assume they haven't been able to report that we've been here.
Yeah, I don't remember. Did they send a runner ahead of us?
Not that we know of. But if they're as admirable as they are supposed to be, they may say something, and that might not go too well for them.
Well, I think maybe someone in a worm might be our best bet then.
Because if we could, we're not that many far off, but I don't know how to get up to the sands.
See, about half a dozen miles from the checkpoint is like, because they would have stopped like halfway on their way to what's going on to take a break. Because, I mean, hiking 6 miles underground, although all of you are very fit, and so are the Crystal Brand, you know, it is part of what they do because they don't know how fit you are. And,
We're still only as fast as our slowest person.
yeah, and it's also like
Don't look at me like that.
I didn't look at you.
I'm slow.
there is like one of the 3 dudes who hasn't spoken yet has been like keeping a very close eye on your Magitech because he can know how strong Magitech can be, and he's just been like, okay, we have your creator under arrest right now. Don't do anything funny, okay? And so he's been keeping a very close eye on Kong. But the
Well, in a purple worm attack, we might be able to convince them to take his.
they don't
knuckles
seem
off
like they're in
then.
a hurry because there's no hurry. Like
Right.
they have no reason to be in like a hurry. They have you. They're doing their
And
job.
we're being complacent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm now freaking out. I don't want to deal with security for it.
I don't either. That's why I'm like, what can we do before we get there?
We know he's a part of the conclave. This is really not.
No.
I know typically polymorph allows for changing only into normal critters. Given we've been very familiar with a purple worm lately, or just my time in the desert being familiar with a desert worm, could I use that?
Yes. So you are. I would say you're familiar with desert worms. I'm not sure if you have seen one up close.
I've studied in my books.
But yeah, probably, or at least been able to see like worm sign from a far away, like where the dust of a dune, just almost like half of a dune just being jettisoned across the desert. Desert worms are by a factor larger than purple worms. Because they have to live longer and have to eat less. Consider them whales compared to like eels. Of the underground, they are more like the whales that move slower in relative to their size, which technically then isn't actually slower because they're so much larger.
Right.
But they would then eat large portions of like what is left in the detritus of the sand, of the shifting sand. So much smaller things of minerals and other creatures, and like, tiny crabs or whatever else lives there because there's less food available, but then grow and become much, much older and become much larger. So if the Matra guy was one of the largest albino purple worms, for example, of the Razorfang mountain range, a normal sandworm would be a tad smaller than the matriarch guy. An average sandworm would be a tad smaller. But if you wanted to go to like a matriarch-style sandworm, we're talking something truly titanic. We're talking about something that could stretch and span the entire scope of a city as to how big that thing could be. It could be over a mile long if we're talking like a big thing. A big sandworm. So as far as like being able to see one and transferring somebody into one, a sandworm, it would be a difficult role for you, I think, just because that's not really how the spell works. But there's a chance you could do that. I think a purple worm might be a tad easier, but at the same time would be quite difficult because, again, not how the spell works. I would also request that you would have to. It's 5th level, correct?
It's 4th level.
I would request that you would have to cast it at the highest level in order to be able to accomplish something like that.
Yeah, I can't.
Highest level you have capable with you to be able to cast like that. And who knows if it might take more than one attempt. Like there's going to be some rolls involved for that, most certainly. The other thing is, if you do it in the confines of this tunnel, there's expansion to be considered.
Well,
You also are very well aware of knowing what you know about this channel, that this was built to be able to withstand attacks from sandworms and purple worms. So finding one within it would be highly irregular, but not entirely unheard of. Repairs have had to be made over the years. And things have changed. Things have gotten stronger. There are times where it's sandworm season. It's time to hire the people. And so because they just it might be every couple years or so, every 100 years, every 50 years, it might be a mating season for sandworms, and they get a little bit more ornery and they attack anything that's long and tubular. So there's a bunch of factors involved in that. I would leave it to the dice,
okay.
but it's possible. If you mean your intent to try to turn one of your party members into a worm.
The thought crossed my mind. I just didn't know. It is stretching the typical rules of the spell, but I know we've also considered some things like that before,
I would say if it has not been given, Conk should have the ability immutable form. It's not. He can't be affected by things like polymorph and stuff like that. As other Zemdack shouldn't be affected by such things as well.
Okay.
They can't be turned into other things. They are what they are.
It's usually more that he doesn't count as a creature for targeting a spell.
Yeah.
He counts as an object.
He is a creature, though, isn't he? He's a
Construct.
creature. Constructs are still creatures. Yeah. Constructs are just a creature type.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would absolutely, if he doesn't already, I would absolutely be granting Conk the ability of immutable form, as well as, especially in my world, other Zemdack would have that ability as well. So, if your plan is to turn Security 4 into a worm, that probably is not going to work.
No. Would it be okay while we're eating if I get my book out of his bag so I can read it by the fire?
Slowly.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
And I just hold on to it. This is my backup spell book. This.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, you got it.
Not losing it to his stupidity.
Can I get my box out of his bag?
Slowly. Why does he have all of your things? Is he your pack mule?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're so small, though.
I'm
Small but
a
mighty.
traveling tinker.
He's bigger on the inside.
With a group.
I mean,
Abnormal?
makes sense apparently with all of the chaos going on. Traveling with others is the only smart move at the moment.
Maybe you're the next stage in evolution of tinkers then, because that would actually make a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
He's a lot more social than the other tinkers we've seen.
Indeed.
A lot more sane.
Just as annoying.
So now I've got the box.
I mean,
Does this have order?
that's a little unfair.
Does the
I
box
think that's
still have
more a
order?
matter of
I
personal
apologize.
taste.
Yes, I
Still
apologize.
what?
But,
Or
it's
is
just
this
like...
then we get some stuff.
I think so. Because
It
I
can
was
be-
thinking about that
you know how
too.
it can be
I'm wondering
sometimes.
if.
What'd you take?
The folding box.
Okay.
Okay. So if nothing else, guys,
You don't need any coffee?
I mean, do we have any idea of what we were trying to do? Because none of us seems to want to meet Security 4.
I mean, I can.
yeah, now's your time to really.
Yeah,
plot
that's
and
what I'm saying.
plan.
Before we say, yeah, let's keep going.
You could
Yeah.
still keep going too. I mean, you have still a while. You can
I'd
still
rather
communicate
if we can
telepathically,
just
but-
do this now because then that
If we
way.
had
Yeah, yeah,
clue
yeah.
how to
It's
get out.
entirely up to you how you want to do it. You guys have time.
Yeah.
So
I'm
no
fine
one's
going
in a
up,
hurry.
but I don't know how.
Well,
I'm fine to going back and working around. I just don't know how either.
Well, the hole we went in is no longer there.
Well, if we can get a hole underneath us, we can find our way, but it could just take us further down.
How are we gonna get through this tunnel?
Well-
I had to use stone shape to get us in here.
if I turn one of you into maybe one of the worms, I would have to really think about it. I didn't prepare it today, so I'd have to use the backup spell book, but Then we could bust through it. We could all
But the
grab
worm couldn't
on,
even get through
go
it
to
to
the
begin with.
surface. It'll be great. What?
But the worm couldn't get through the metal to begin with.
Simple expansion. They'd have to be able to.
Or,
Or hurt real bad.
yeah.
I mean, it's unless you get the really big one. I mean, it's gonna be good boy. Or
We're stuck in the death tube.
Yeah.
If we fight them and let them live, will security force still kill them?
Yes.
If we escape in
Well, if they
confusion,
know.
if we escape during some confusion, will security force still kill them? Potentially.
Well, it all depends if security knows that we're here. So if they don't tell, then they're safe. If they are the righteous people they are and say, hey, we let these people go, then they may die.
You know, if somebody was stupid or was smart enough not to get himself arrested,
I mean,
we could just turn around and go back.
No,
You were
we
headed there
couldn't.
anyway. Yeah.
We couldn't turn around. They already were escorting us.
Well, we could have decided it was a headache and gone back to do it said we were going to go do it the proper way. But no, that's not going to work.
We can either go guns blazing or what do we have?
How many people can you turn invisible?
I can get up to, I believe it's, I can get up to 3 people.
We don't know what these manacles do.
Right, that's the only issue.
Yeah.
So if we all go invisible and the spell doesn't work because he's wearing these manacles.
Mr. Crystal Brand, I guess that's a good point. Can I leave the ration bag
Please, it's
with
just-
them?
Mr. Carrick is fine.
Mr. Carrick, can I leave the ration bag with them?
Sure.
Okay.
Do you mind? He just goes through it, make sure there's nothing untoward in it. It's just rations.
Coffee, rations, all of our adventuring supplies.
Coffee. Well, at least you're doing a good job as tinkerer. You're doing well for yourself.
That's his.
Yeah, it's my coffee.
All right, go ahead. There's nothing else in there?
It's a bag of holding.
Oh, you give him the bag of holding.
Giving us.
So he
That's
just
what
looks
they
into...
were, that's what they were pulling their stuff out.
Okay,
of.
right. And so you asked, do you mind if I give him my bag of rations?
Yeah.
So-
Or the bag
Gift.
of supplies.
The whole bag of holding?
Yes.
Okay, so he says he says, do you mind if I look through it, because
Nope.
he doesn't want you to be giving him something that could get you up. You escape.
mean,
There's still officers of the law. So you give him the bag and he looks into it. It's just an expansive. It's like,
Well,
reaching for.
reach
That's
in,
true.
pull out coffee. Reach in.
There should be
That's my
coffee in
coffee.
there.
no, I'm
and-
familiar with what this is, which makes me a little hesitant to just be given this willy-nilly because I
Just-
don't know what you have in here.
Our group
That everything
supplies.
falls out, yeah.
Right.
The
Why don't
whole-
you tell me what it is you'd like from it, and I'll
the
pull it out.
whole? Well, I mean, there's hundreds of pounds of stuff in there.
You're a tinker. Go ahead and roll a persuasion check, then.
I mean, it's going to be so
Zemdack
much.
rolls so
it's
many more
going to be
persuasion
so
checks
much
than
easier
Baz.
if you just let us have it.
Yeah.
Nice.
that.
You get a flask of juice.
I was really trying to get it in before you rolled there to help you.
7.
Look, of course you understand. Tinkers trade in all types of, whether it be dangerous or other types of things. So, as a precaution, why don't you tell me what it is you'd like from this, and I'll pull it out, and then I'll give the bag back to you. But you yourself are not permitted,
That would
nor the
take
other companions allowed to pull anything else from this.
That would take too long.
Those are the options that we have right now.
I'll hold on to it.
All right.
Oh, speaking of
I'm not going
dangerous
to take your
things,
property, but I'm also
most
not...
of mine are on the outside.
Most of your what?
Don't
Dangerous things.
don't touch this shoulder. Don't touch this egg.
Do you have brittle bone disease? Or-
No, they're my pets.
Seriously, just don't.
You have pets that live on you?
Yes.
Oh, like, are you one of those mushroom me boys?
No. Well, yes, but no.
I take
That was a good one. Are they, your pets live on you?
Yes.
Are they dangerous?
Take the
Yes.
chicken and put it up by his shoulders. See what happens.
They're bitey.
No, thank you.
They're bitey.
Okay. Why so much trouble?
I didn't have to be.
You
You're
know,
right,
if-
you didn't.
we can always go back. You don't have to take us there now.
No,
Just
I'm
let
pretty
us go
sure
back.
we have to take you there. It's kind of our job. We made an oath.
I understand. Just wondering when we become too much trouble.
Anything else you want from your bag, or
No. Like I said, it would take too long to pull out exactly everything, so I'll
I
just...
know there's some
I'll
mushroom
just
wine
hold
in
on to
there
it.
somewhere if you guys want that, but you guys said you won't drink on duty, so
no, we don't. I mean, you're feel free if you'd like some mushroom wine, we'll pull some out for you. I mean, far be it for me to prevent you from inviting along the way. I mean, you're not working. We are.
yeah.
All right, I believe we should probably pack it up. And you see one of the other individuals just kind of snaps his fingers and the fire just extinguishes. And they
Yeah, my
reach in
turn?
and they grab the mycelial log that appears to be just like, almost like some of those Everlogs.
Yeah.
It appears to like barely burnt that much. It appears to be a very condensed piece of fuel that can be used several times.
You've told us about the note before, right?
Oh yeah, you guys have read it.
Yeah. No. I was thinking,
I just don't remember what was on it, but
what if you agree to get with Security 4 to get all of us through, and then you betray him later? So we're gonna betray the conclave anyway. Probably.
sure, let's risk my life. Sounds like a fun day.
I mean, just like every other day.
Yeah, thank you. I was about to say that.
I was literally going, the stupid things you've done lately, and this is the thing you have a problem with me suggesting?
Cole's like, are you serious?
I don't do anything stupid.
Don't do anything stupid. Everything I do is brilliant. Because of Zemdack's flash of genius. So you guys continue on your way. You guys can continue to plan as you like.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give, for the sake of just whatever. You guys have as much time you want to discuss what it is you'd like to do. At some point, if it starts to get extremely long-winded and it starts to drag on, and I feel like, okay, we should get moving, I might be like, okay, guys, you arrive. You
Yeah.
just have to deal with it. So
Security 4 is not going to let me go.
take the opportunity.
It's not a thing. I mean, before they had Ermgrim, and now they have no flames. The second he sees me, I'm going to be arrested.
Right.
Especially under the pretense of that we can be arrested.
Well, yeah, he has a great pretense to arrest all of us. The only thing I can maybe say is I wasn't there and I met you after Karadine.
But
You let someone get hold of your bean.
Yeah, that's a bigger issue.
Yeah, that is an issue, but that's not one I have to answer for here.
Yeah, but goodbye to literally every nation has agreed to report that type of thing. So goodbye to literally all of your permission.
Oh, yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah.
yeah, but this is a part of the conclave.
Yeah.
They know who we are.
Yeah.
We're pretty much fucked if we don't get out of here.
Do we just fight these guys and leave them unconscious then?
They're still going to be killed by him.
I know.
That
but
happens.
Depending.
If they... I know they have their oaths, but maybe if they're smart
I
enough
mean,
not to report
do
things.
we explain it
or-
to them? Say, hey, we've dealt with Security 4 before. He will kill you if you find out that that you have us, even just because you know that we exist. They killed people at Karadine for us.
I mean, if
We give them the option.
It's worth a
do we
shot.
want to? I mean, if we want, I can sit down and tell them everything.
Maybe not everything,
If you really want them dead, sure.
but I think the Keradim security for meeting him before might be okay. Like describing
If they
that
want
situation.
proof, I got a letter from him.
Right, exactly. So,
He's also not one of them.
Right.
He's not
Yeah.
Crystal Brand.
Right.
No.
and you could put it like we were telling you this because we respect you. We don't want you to die. You have a very important job.
But if you don't let us go,
And you bring us there and report that you saw us.
You are going to die.
You're going to
We've
die.
watched him smash people's heads in.
We watched him we watched a friend of ours disappear from their jails because of him.
If they are still hell bent on doing that, though, then let's
mean-
fight earlier rather than later, eh?
It's their oath, and so they may not care.
Right.
Yeah.
But at least they're choosing to die.
I say we all just stop walking and talk to them then. And we'll tell them. At that point, if we need to, we need to. But at least we're all closer together and not,
Yeah, and not on the checkpoints limit,
yeah.
so we can be a little sneakier, maybe.
I stop walking.
Okay.
Okay. I guess we're doing this.
Konk's pulling up the rear, being watched by that one other individual. So Konk just kind of stops behind you. We hear like a ting ting. Well, get moving. Come on.
I
That taps like Konk's butt.
I tell him, I go, before we get there, we do need to talk to you about something with security for.
All right, well, walk and talk. We'll be there for quite a while yet.
It's better if we stop now and talk about it.
Well, can you not chew gum and breathe at the same time?
Have you met a bard?
Well, that's a good joke, isn't it?
At least I don't have steel on the brain.
Oh!
Hey, well, I mean, we're getting farther from there, so just move, please. Move.
I mean, if you guys want to have your heads caved in, we can keep walking.
What? Is that a threat?
No,
Watch security for
we've watched him do it.
Are the rest of you stopping too?
yeah, we're all.
Okay. All right, so we're doing this. Okay. Oi, what's the holdup?
We need to talk to you. Partially because
Well, you can walk and talk.
if we get any closer, there's a good chance you're going to die for something that has nothing to do with the crystal brand or terrazine or anything like that.
From security. For
You see them kind of like change their stance. Is that a threat?
No,
That's what I said.
no, but if you bring us to security for, he will kill you because you know of us.
Explain.
Where do you want to start?
Are you that wanted?
Not wanted for anything illegal, but him and some elven compatriots have some plans on the Razor Fang, hence why Keradim was zombified, the trouble in Stierkrag, the one who's stepping down of the Triumvirate for an elf to take hold.
Go ahead and roll a persuasion check for me here, because the vibe you're getting from these people are like, "Whoa, you're one of those crazy bards." Man.
Let me double check to make sure I'm not screwing this up.
Okay.
21.
21. There's definitely a look on these people's, on these Crystal Brand faces of like, oh no, we got one of those. But at the same time, they're like, they're not dismissing it immediately. They don't respond. They're just listening.
Would you like to see a note that he wrote, one of us?
A note?
Yeah, that we have. It's outlining that he needs him. He even says, I don't really have anything on you, but I'm going to hold you in jail until you agree.
And this is from... this
The
note
lieutenant that you're taking us to.
Right.
addressed to...
There's no name on it.
Oh, is there no name on it? It was no, but it was found by one of my
It
companions.
was handed to me.
Found? So... Its legitimacy is in question.
I believe it was found when it was handed to him by security for.
Sounds like a tall tale to me.
Well, here is, and I'm going to pull out my pages about Minheim other than when we left and hand them over. Yeah. I hand him over like I hand him over like a stack of like 50 pages.
I don't want that. I'm not going to read that. I'm not going to read that. I don't want that. Whatever your notes are, it's not a legal binding document. It's not part of
We're
this.
worried about your safety.
Not
You're
ours.
bringing us to security for.
If
I've watched him smash lieutenants' heads in because they didn't provide me with enough water.
We had heard. We know that he was given a note during the zombie uprising, and chose to ignore it too.
Yes.
and you have proof of this?
I have a witness.
Who's your witness?
Me.
Does your witness? Do you have proof of this?
I am the witness. Of course, the note was thrown away.
Is there more than one witness?
Shakar.
Shakar.
Familiar.
And again, do you have proof of this?
How do you have? How do you,
Otherwise, this is hearsay.
If there was proof, do you think he would have? If we had proof, do you think he would still be there? Have been moved to you?
Boy, is that the mantra of conspiracy theorists?
Very true. Very true. Well, it's up to you. I mean, it's not my skull that's going to be caved in by him.
I am listening to you as I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt, and you have my ear, because none of us really want to die, but we also have an oath to uphold. However, unless you can present me with some sort of convincing evidence that these things are, that your claims are true, what is it you expect me to do? You expect me to just let you go?
Yeah,
And then get my skull bashed in anyway?
but you
For
don't
letting
say
you
that you
go?
met us.
Only if you know, if you let him know that it's us.
So you want me to break my oath and lie?
no.
In what way is
In what way is not telling him
what-
that you
what is
saw
your-
us
your
breaking
oath-
your oath?
Your oath is to the Razor Fang,
Yes.
not to this lieutenant.
They're a lieutenant of the Razor Fang. What
I
else
thought
you
they were a
understand here?
lieutenant of Karadim.
Oh.
From what I understood, they were.
Yes, technically the Karadim is its own military.
Also, do you think this lieutenant has survived this many millennia by always following the chain of command? And why would they still only be a lieutenant?
It's not my place to say.
Just saying.
The
Just think about it.
What would you have us do then? By the way, I mean there's a difference between me escorting you here because you're not supposed to be here, turning the other cheek and letting you down with a slap on the wrist to prevent people from dying, and now being fully aware that someone here has most likely breaking the law or under the suspicion of such,
What's
which
the-
we are now honor bound to.
he was.
What's the typical
No,
ruling
he
for
was-
that, by the way? What's the punishment typically for that?
It's not for us to say.
No, I mean, but I know it's not typically for what you to say. Is it like a fine paying the
Secondly,
people back?
I
Like,
was-
It depends on the
I
triumvirate.
was there when he was cleared by the warden.
It depends on the branch of triumvirate has been wronged. Tokrin likes to just sanction with fines because if the person
Don't
repeats
say
the offense, if the
say the
person
vicious.
repeats the offense, then they get more money out of that individual.
We have talked to his master, who the property was about, and he has let us gone free. He never brought us back to the triumvirate.
Do you have any proof of this?
I mean, other than
How
I-
do we
I'd
expect
love
to
to
have
believe you.
all this proof? What form of proof do you normally expect from this sort of thing? A document from a bard? Well, I have that.
what proof
But what
do you expect
proof
me to be
do you
carrying
expect me to
around
have?
that says that a lieutenant in the Razor Fang Agreement cities is murdering and against the Razor Fang and all this? You know, if I had that kind of proof, I'd turn it in because then it's not in charge. You really think that I'm going to try and...
And you expect us to act on this without proof?
We expected to inform you so that you are aware so you don't get your head bashed in.
I want a group persuasion check here. I want everybody to roll persuasion check. Zemdack, you didn't say anything, have you? Yeah, clammed up real quick, didn't he?
+5
To who?
to the group average.
Just pick one, and then just pick somebody, because it does say have a creature. So, well, you could do so after, I believe, right? After the total has been.
I think you can say it after the total has been said, but before he says.
Yeah.
whether or
So
not
go
it's a
ahead.
success.
Let's go around. Go ahead.
24.
24.
5.
Oh no.
Did you talk? A little bit.
Yeah.
Did
10.
A little bit I did.
Yeah.
10.
22.
22.
10.
10. Got it.
17.
17. Hey guys, these are pretty good numbers. That flash of genius really saved you. That +5 to make it just a nice even 10. It was pretty good.
I was, it's Machete with my voice, so.
Yeah.
A little interesting.
Just not.
That's why I've been trying to not talk much, but
Yeah, that deep gravelly voice coming out of the
Yeah.
female Kenran. I love it.
I didn't.
You really need a throat lozenge.
oh, yeah, it's really sore right now.
Okay, so you guys, just for the sake of time, you guys do your best to like really. You said everything that you've said, and you just feel like, look, we're trying to help both of us right now because you might get really, really hurt from this. You see them kind of look at each other. Look, I understand that this lieutenant can be a bit of a hard ass, and there have been a few incidents. Sometimes it's refreshing, sometimes it's not. Give me a reason, give me any proof at all. Give me anything that I can actually rationalize our honor upon, and we'll figure something out. And I'm with
Hardest
you.
part is
I
proof.
am. I think this is. If I'm of a mind, and I believe my companions are too, to believe what it is that you have saying, because it kind of tracks. It's kind of on brand. It's all of this is not really what we signed up for anyway. We don't really want to be here doing this. This is all just unfortunate circumstances, and it would suck to have people die just because you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, unless you are spies as to what you are. Now, I'd like to think you aren't. You've been pretty amenable so far. However, we have a legitimate suspicion of arrest, so give me anything. Give me one shred, iota of proof, and we'll figure something out.
DM,
Sure.
I have an idea of something here.
Sure.
I don't know if it'll work this way, and I just want to float it past you. I can try it. I know, and I probably will. Here.
Tell me what it is you'd like to try, and I'll tell you if I can do it.
I want to try to get Trisheni to think about that memory, so I can latch onto it and try and cast either minor or major illusion to show what she saw for them to witness.
Okay, cool. I will say, as a bard and somebody who's familiar with magic, and as are these individuals, you know that illusion could be anything. It doesn't
Right.
necessarily have to be. It could be fictitious, entirely
I know.
fictitious.
That's why I was like,
But you're more than willing to try to see how persuasive this. So that's like the. It's an almost complete hard line that they're kind of riding on, because yes, these people made full oaths to uphold the law and to save and yada yada
Right.
yada yada yada. So when it comes to, they are full lawful individuals. So when it comes to like they're you've ground them and worn them down really a lot. They just need like, give me something, just anything, however minuscule it may be, that's definitive, and we can talk. Like,
Did we get
but you're more than welcome to try that. I think that would be possible, and that's just up to. I would just make it a roll between you, as well as how well you can emulate her thought.
right.
Go ahead.
And
Did we get any kind of paperwork, proof of our hero ship of Steercrag from Chiron?
Yeah, you guys gave you.
Badges.
You guys gave you like badges and writs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you are part of, like not champions of Steercrag, but you guys are what was the word I was looking for? I can't. But it's not under the Argent Flame and under your actual names. It's under the Arcane Conundrum.
Well,
remember?
some of us are under our actual names for the Arcane Conundrum
That's correct.
and stuff.
Some
so.
of you are.
I don't think I ever used a different name.
Yeah. Neither have I.
Zemdack's used a bunch of names.
Yeah.
Log is just whoever he happens to be at the moment.
It's normally John.
I give
it's usually
sometimes
John,
my full name, sometimes just my
I might be
We're-
able.
We're champions of the city of Steercrag, and that was just weeks ago.
Yeah, I can't remember the actual title I gave you, but something along those lines.
Count maybe.
You show the badges and the writs. I'm like, well, if nothing else, it's a character witness.
And that was in between the incident and now.
He looks at the badge like, this isn't. It's lit in badges on anything I'm familiar with, but that would make sense given the current
So
changes
someone
in leadership
of the
in Steercrag.
triumvirate government has given me
We helped
that
get to Carrick in charge.
and not arrested me.
I mean, this is great for a character witness. Do you have any proof of any of the claims that you have said, though?
Other than one thing that I might be able to do with one of my spells and another one of my abilities where I can maybe let you see her memory.
Still not solid evidence.
Nothing is solid.
I know.
Because if there was solid evidence,
Right.
it would have already.
Everything we have is
The
circumstantial.
That's
mantra
my
of
fun
conspiracy
part.
theorists the world around.
Everything we have is
We're
circumstantial.
both in very precarious positions here. You must understand.
I have.
That's
I,
why we're trying
Show
to
me
let
what
you
you
know.
have.
I do have one book from one of these people that's involved in all this conspiracy stuff. But that won't make sense in this context. But that will at least give you an idea that there is actual conspiracy things going on. It's also written in a very enigmatic.
code.
Yeah. So it took me time to decipher it. So I don't know how much of a help it'll be. But it's at least something.
Just
Physical.
present Exhibit B.
Pull out the host's.
And this is written in like Da Vinci Code,
Yeah.
upside down, backwards, Mauritian,
Yeah.
and other stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I speak Mauritian, so I'll try. It's one of the reasons why we were put here.
Didn't you write down the cipher?
I did. I mean, it's a full book. I don't know how long you want to spend reading it. If you
Yeah, but if you show him the cipher, he might be able to at least get some out of it.
Okay.
Do you have a good spot where he could start looking at?
We
Sure.
got time,
all right.
Don't we
but
still
let's
have,
keep walking, yeah?
Don't we have the note from him to security for too still?
That was pinned on Eliezer's armor.
Yeah. Well, no.
Sofka
Yeah, no.
ate a note.
Sofka ate it and
He chewed through it and
a
brought it
hole.
back to us so
Yeah.
we could read it.
And I do
Security
have it.
4 never saw that note. We've had that note the entire
Yes,
time.
yeah.
And pull it out.
Yeah.
It says your prize, blank mine. We need blank meat. Congrats on blank promotion, EA. If you notice, the and the handwriting is very similar to what is in this book, and it is the same
And
person.
EA is.
You don't want to know that answer.
No, it's better
For
if
your
you don't.
That's kind of okay.
Just
Do you want it? Because then it's more than just your head getting
It's
squished.
very
it's your whole
much.
family.
It's very much tied to those elven individuals
are
I
you
was
people?
mentioning.
Again,
People
do
trying
you really
to make
want to know
things
this?
better.
Or in the way, better in the way they think is better.
We want you to have some
For a
form
lot of people in
deniability.
anarchists say the same thing. Horrible people say the exact same thing.
There are those
So
that
do
are trying
honorable.
to tear down the triumvirate. We are trying to prevent them from doing so.
great.
Shani, do you want to try
Yeah,
that?
I can try that too. Yeah.
See if you can.
I don't see how
All
that's
right.
going to prove
I start.
anything.
I'll describe it out loud as well as think through it and stuff, and so you can try to.
Go ahead, roll an Arcana check for me, and then roll a Persuasion check at advantage for me.
And can Shikar help me because he was the one that actually saw?
This is an Arcana check for him,
I know. I'm just.
and he's already getting
overall-
advantage for his Persuasion. So yeah. Oh no.
For a grand total of 2.
Okay, so go ahead and roll Persuasion at advantage.
Yeah. Was trying something new there. Oh wow, yeah. 16.
16. So the illusion is very cartoonish, very like crunkle, toss. not like stick figure-y, but like looks like it was drawn by a 12-year-old.
Yeah,
It's
it's very much like kid drawing of a city on fire and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Is something's going
And then
on.
there's this like smiling big thing that goes like, note. Probably tossed in
Excuse her. She's had some mental issues the last couple of days. She's missing home and she doesn't like it underground.
Yo.
Wow.
I try to
Takes a
link,
step back.
but like, you shouldn't be telling that the character witness's mind is crazy. just trying to link with you, but not.
He's still linked with
Oh
you.
yeah, I can hear that. Out.
Yeah.
What was your persuasion?
16
16. So
with my plus 11.
they just kind of look. They just stare at it until it finishes, and then they look at each other like.
I know that wasn't great. I'm sorry.
But that's why I described it out loud too, just in case.
We didn't take this bard for his spell abilities. It's usually for his oration.
Yeah, his writing's really great. You should pick up the next copy of his book.
If you are who I think you are, just say the word.
Cole looks at everyone and goes, "What fucking word?"
The group. It's the
My flame is Argent.
one-time use.
Someone remembered! It's a pleasure to meet you. Where you headed?
The boss.
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 Where you really headed?
The boss.
The boss.
All right.
We have reason to believe that all these troubles are caused by the group
The
we've
glow
mentioned.
doesn't shine alone.
Right. What's my fucking call sign? Hold on. Rewind. Let's do this properly.
You never said the actual like.
Yeah, because I forget, because it's been a long,
The light
long
that
time.
shines the brightest is silver.
Who says
The
first
the
one.
contact person. So like whoever.
The second
Oh,
is.
okay,
my
but there's
flame.
something else. Right, hold
Yes,
on. Let's
the one I
rewind.
said was the one-time use.
But we actually have to open that with that. So hold on a second, because there's actually something else involved in it. So hold on, just retcon real quick, rewind, because I want to do some stuff, because this is actually really interesting. So I say just say the word. Now, none of you are familiar what that means, because if you guys remember, because you guys have, they're supposed to give you a call sign if they summon, meaning that there's something else, either some sort of layer that you're not familiar with.
Can I ask Ankyline if these people are his?
You try to reach into Ankylan?
Yeah.
Go like,
Do you
I
know
do
these?
have something nearby. It may be them. It's hard. I'm trying not to be as imposing as... because you gave me instructions not to be. But I do sense something very, very close.
Can you ask them to say the words?
I could try. There's a moment, and you go like, that's not how this works.
Cole's gonna look at him and just go, "Yankee line."
You hear just like someone talking to themselves in their mind, being like, they're not doing it right. What's happening? So it appears like there's some level that you guys aren't entirely aware of, because things change, things move around, levels of security are added, whatever have you. Granted, they asked for a word. Now, you're familiar with the call sign phrases. You're not familiar with what that means. But you have abilities and methods as to try to find stuff like that out. Now's the time. Because tensions are high in this moment now, because you know what could happen if they partially reveal themselves and you prove not to be who they think you are, the hammer may come down even harder. So, what are you guys doing?
Right, I love that. We all get you put us on the spot, and everybody just goes silent. We have no ideas. Yeah. Well, I can't read his mind though. That's not part of it. I can. Yeah, I've talked to him.
Log can't he?
You both not the Ankily line.
No.
No,
I
but
mean,
just
all I did was
anybody.
reach in.
Can't you detect thoughts?
No, I can't detect thoughts. No.
No, yeah.
I thought you could though.
Next level.
I thought one of you guys had that spell. Sorry.
No, it's literally I get it next level.
No, but no, I can't say anything.
You can still talk
But
to his head.
yeah,
Yeah.
I talk into his head and I go, or I talk about the little gnome that we had with the mushrooms and everything like that. We met like that. I mentioned boots in his head, and then lastly, I'm going to flash a image of a moon, not their image, but just a moon in my hand, real quick, like a silvery moon, and then
Okay.
I'll light it on fire for the hell of it, so that way it looks like
Okay.
the Argent Flame.
Cool. So the way your mind thing works is that you send a message to somebody, and then whatever it is they're thinking in the moment, or like, because if somebody doesn't know how it works, just any
Yeah.
like thought that they're thinking in the moment gets transferred over to it. If they want to direct speech, they can be more
And then I
direct
go-
about it. But yada yada yada.
And I'll even say, what's the word in his head?
Yeah. Granted, these are
Trained individuals.
that probably one of the things they go through is to try to resist this types of things, because it would suck to have a controlled
Right.
it's crystal brand, because somebody who has access to terrazine being mind controlled is probably one of the first things that the triumvirate tries to prevent to do. You do notice that none of them have removed their helmets at all while they have been here. You find it very difficult to reach in there. So do me a favor, roll an Arcana check for me.
I'm doing Adam, but not persuasion with Arcana. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay, you feel quite a bit of resistance, like almost like your beam or whatever of telepathy like hits really thick mud and like jello before it finally pushes through, and you say, what's the passcode and a couple of other things, everything, and you get a bunch of jumble being like, what? No, and you hear other voices. You hear Anka being like, it's cool, we're cool, it's good. Like, no, that's not how it works. It's not, they're supposed to say umami. They have to do like, we talked about this before. Like, it wasn't, I was specifically told.
So where did you get that log? It has a really big umami smell.
Now, what was the fucking call sign again?
The light
have
that
it written here.
shines brightest is silver, my
Fuck,
flame.
I feel so bad because it was such a dramatic moment and I don't have it written down. I just didn't have it a bit.
The light that shines the brightest is silver.
My flame is argent.
The response is my flame is argent.
Yeah, and I'm the only one who knows the second part for if there's a second person, additional
Right,
person
so
with this.
the lights, they say, well, you know how it is down here, when you light the fire or if some of the moon's light gazes through, the light that shines the brightest is silver.
Well, can you tell me again, Adam? Sorry.
There's
been a lot of
Flame
stuff.
is argent.
My flame is argent.
Yeah, this has been a shit show.
But that's because we kept relaying it sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm like, which part am I remembering?
It's
Actually, I'll do
very
this.
on brand for you guys to be like, wait, hold on, wait. And then both of them to be like, not used to clandestine stuff. And everybody fucking this up and being like, okay, but you're the person, right? Okay, cool.
I'll light my hand to turn it
our
argent.
flame is... My flame is argent down here. It's
And that's
great.
exactly how you say it, but our flame is... But my flame is argent.
Yeah.
Perfect. Absolutely. It's such a fucking mess. Go ahead.
I'll light my flame and turn it argent.
Okay.
I create bonfire, make it urgent.
Which is a bunch of fires.
Minor illusion.
Yeah, exactly.
Not necessary.
Nice big argent flame.
And
or
what's
something.
the? I don't have it written down. What's the next
That was
call
it.
sign?
Or glow
No, no.
doesn't allow- What's that?
But there's more than one of you.
That's
glow-
only if there's someone who's with us who's not part of our group.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's only if there's.
There was an
I
emergency.
don't believe there isn't.
There was
is-
an
there's no-
emergency phrase. That was the second phrase.
Right,
That's
but-
what the person who is with us would say, and I would telepath to them. I'm the only one who knows that call.
Yeah.
sign.
Correct, but there isn't anybody here that they haven't been warned about. There's no
Right.
other person because everybody here was present during that conversation.
Yeah.
So what's the plan?
Well, we didn't know.
You
about
see the other guy
security
go
for the
like-
First part.
Our first one.
We need to get through to the other side. The people who are causing all these troubles, we're pretty sure they're behind what's in Babas too.
Especially if they brought security for there.
Yeah.
To cut people off so that there's absolutely no hope.
The trade needs to flow.
To keep chaos
Try
burning
to choke.
more than anything.
See, pull out his key, come over to you, unlock the manacles, toss the manacles back into his bag. If what you say is true, no matter what we do, look, we're willing to make oaths and make sacrifices, and one of the reasons why we took this one is because it actually doesn't directly conflict with our oath, and it could mean a betterment of what it is that we're doing, and it's fine. Although the Triumvirate might not always see it that way, we are a separate entity, so we can do our own oaths. Should we? However, we can't go back empty-handed. Do you have any shreds of parts of your clothing? Maybe some. Do you have like a severed arm or something?
I've got some heads.
Should do.
They're worm heads.
I mean,
No, that will not do.
You don't have any more fingers?
No, we've used up all of my hands.
you know, if we go back,
Talk about hands.
we go back far enough, we might be able to find his eyeball somewhere.
No, that's
It's too far.
Oh,
That was devoured. Yeah.
That's why I said if we go back far enough, we may be able to find it. You know,
did
somewhere.
you let them know that we were coming? Like, did you?
We haven't been in the regular communique, no. But
So
the fact that we have been taking so long and coming back, there are things that we silent, unwritten codes. I mean, if we'd taken along, something happened. If we're taking so long to come back, after a certain number of days without any communication, we are assumed that something
hasn't.
wrong has happened, and then the search party is sent out.
It's only been a few hours.
Correct, but
What?
you know how we work.
Right.
All it takes is a couple of minutes, maybe an hour late, and then they know something. Whether it be you or something else, but we have to give them something.
Yeah.
Also, if this individual is as perceptive as you say, who knows what they'll notice to show that we found somebody or someone, or
I do have something
for example,
that would be.
we used a
fully-
bunch of our rations. Why would we use more than we would have if we would have people with us?
I have something that would be fully under the jurisdiction of the Crystal Brand that you could say you found.
Does it explain our extra use of rations?
Yes.
Does it?
No.
Means explain.
No. Don't listen to him. He likes to dig holes.
we might need that later.
What, didn't we bring some rations? Like, could we refill your rations so that way you don't have to explain the missing ones?
Yeah, foul.
I mean, we grabbed a bunch of stuff from the kitchen. What did you grab, you?
You.
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 Are
Nice
you
catch,
talking
by the way. Yeah.
I did. I just wrote down rations. I didn't write like how many, but I wrote down.
I mean,
2 jars.
rations. I would say that we
You
probably
got it from the kitchen, yeah?
Yeah, when
I'd
I
say you
stole my
probably
cleaver.
could have some foul with you.
Yeah.
It's only been like a couple days. It might be a little peakish, but nothing
Were
too
you
bad. Yeah.
I mean, we do have fowl and the like inside of that bag.
No. What?
Give me whatever it is you like that you have that could presumably refill what it is that we gave you.
I'll give them the rations.
You got it. You give them some of the best food that you guys have.
Yeah.
That's good berries.
What were you saying?
Do you know of somewhere else that we might be able to get through here, or is there any way that we could go in from
There are a
the
couple
razor?
smugglers' tunnels that reach that wind up to the surface.
Okay. That might be our best bet to get through then.
There are other smuggler tunnels that either go deeper or bypass around, but
Is it gonna
I wouldn't. I wouldn't take the chance of trying to bypass because
Glover and Ninja
I
Stars?
mean we know as much as you do. Some of them have been discovered and have been either collapsed, shut down, or stationed with guards.
Okay.
So
Pull out a fresh set of desert clothes and a mining pick.
okay.
Will these work as an excuse?
Well, that we found someone and we killed them and took their clothes.
You found these
In a
in the
random
tunnel,
in the tunnel.
with no explanation,
And they're fresh,
and they're fresh.
possibly. And then we stuck around to investigate,
Yeah. Found nothing.
but found no one. That could work. You sure you don't need these?
I don't.
Do you have your own
Yes.
trekking clothes
I mean, I'm
for
wearing
the
mine.
mall? You better have the right equipment because
We bought clothes.
this place
we-
is extremely unforgiving.
We bought
We,
clothes
we, we
way
bought
back in Carradine.
we bought all that back at the same time we bought these ones because I'm wearing those because that's been my clothes since Carradine.
Yeah.
Oh, you definitely need a new mini then.
I mean,
have
heck,
not
give
remembered
me
that
those
at
and
all.
he can have these ones.
Yeah.
Well, it's because
Yeah.
he got shredded, and
Yeah, that's
true.
that,
When he
yeah.
got shredded.
If,
Passed
if-
out drunk
if a
and-
certain group of people hadn't destroyed my clothing,
well, that's
Wasn't
just
us.
because they're short. It's
Right.
Yeah.
They're not going to fit him, is what I'm saying. They're,
Right.
they're shorter person.
It would make
clothes.
sense for them to be people. It makes like
it's more suspicious.
looking
for
like
them to
it,
be male.
it definitely holds up with the story of a smuggler that came in from above ground that went down here taking advantage of there's no one else that is here to either smuggle stuff or mine a place that has been shut down because it, like, you know, now that it's no longer been shut down because there's no
There's nobody
presence
yeah.
here, but it's just all not allowed to be here because there's no one here, like yada yada yada. There's a bunch of ways they could go with that. That could work. Are you sure you'll be all right?
Yep.
oh, let me do
Yeah.
you something real quick. And I take prestidigitation and I soil the clothes so that way they look like they've been worn recently.
All right.
Like some sweat stains.
Yeah, exactly. Make it look like somebody's been wearing these and that. It's
mean,
not just a fresh pair of clothes that
I hate
they're
it, but
bringing
it
to somebody.
works.
What I gave you, the mine.
Well, I mean,
You
it's,
could just do that. You could just make people clean.
Yeah.
I don't have one of
These
those.
fucking suck. I hate bards.
They have their uses.
comes in
Do you
handy.
need any help?
Well, do you know of a good way
If you
once
could
we're
point
in
out
there?
one of those tunnels.
Anyone else that we could trust in Babas?
I could show you a smuggler tunnel, but the fact that I know it may mean that other people might know about it. So you're probably better off finding your own. But if you want, I can.
Let's.
Do you know? What he just asked? Do you know of anybody
sorry?
in Bibas?
Do you know? Do I know anything about?
Anyone friendly in Babas?
I'm part of the same
Oh,
network.
as far as there has been a collection of, I don't want to say refugees or, well, perhaps refugees or revolutionaries, but under the old Temple of the Sun from one of the previous Primarchs that has since been raided quite a few times since the Primarchs, since the present Primarchs flee. Deep under that, there appears to be a collection of people that have been trying to gather.
Do they refer to themselves as the Tomb of the Sun?
That's the name of the Tomb of the Suns are the tombs of the previous Primarchs, and there are many of them. I don't know exactly which one. I haven't been there myself.
There will be
How-
other patrols.
Oh, most likely.
So
I
us-
can't speak for what is going on over there, but I mean for other patrols of Crystal Brand.
In this tunnel.
Yes.
Us getting out of here quickly is probably more.
Maybe not
important.
one between us and the next checkpoint, but yes. If you decide to continue on the tunnel and try to bypass and continue on the
If
path.
you show us that way out, it may be safer just to get off of.
I can show you the two of the smuggler tunnels
main
between
road.
here and the checkpoint that we are aware of. Now, because I and we are aware of them, it
Are they
could very well mean that
protected
others
oversight?
could be well aware of them. There may be others that we have not found.
Right.
So it's up to you.
The ones that you found, have there been other tunnels leading off of them as well, or are they just going?
We haven't delved more than a few hundred feet into
Probably
them
find a path.
before they branch off, because if as long as we can cut them off of the pass and bottleneck them, why bother? And others that have been viewed a little bit more problematic to man, we just collapse.
Okay. Well,
I'm just thinking us getting off the main road as quickly as possible.
yeah, that's
better for all of us.
Of course. The thing is that we can't escort you through those.
No,
Because
understood.
if we'd have caught with you, helping you out, then
We
we
don't
have
need
to
to
answer a lot
escort,
more
which is
questions.
what we don't want.
no, we don't want you to get anyone in trouble or hurt. That's why we. That's why
But
we.
if
talk
you
to
end up confronted with somebody, then I don't want you to hurt anyone either. And then someone else has seen you. So if I were you, I would look for one on your own.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's our smart bet. Do you
Sure.
think you could find one?
We can just keep on walking,
It's stone.
and we'll just pretend to not see that you leave when you leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you sure you're ready for the more?
No, but
I am. I'm very ready.
Yes, you and your
Yeah,
sister.
yeah,
sure.
I'm totally ready.
As ready as anyone.
She just
can
needs a
be.
she needs a lozenge.
Yeah. I was singing a
No,
lot
we
and
heard the
screaming.
whole. Like you're just whatever you want to be. I think like that's the whole thing. You get one that doesn't look familiar, but any more than one.
We're ready as we ever are.
yeah, I think.
Alright, well, let's keep on walking, nice and slow.
All right. Start looking everywhere to see if we can spot
Yeah,
them.
I would
Yeah,
say
I'll look too.
those of you who are very familiar with the underground, I would say
Then
I
you start
think
licking some
Log,
stone.
you've spent
this
quite a few
point.
years. Yeah, and also you've spent quite a few years in the mines.
Yeah.
Granted, you guys have only been together for a few months now.
Yeah.
So those of you that have had like years,
It
of
feels
experience
like
on
we've been
underground
together
is-
for like 2 or more years.
yeah, are
but-
ones that would be able to get advantage on this roll. And I would say this is a survival or perception roll. Investigation is something that you would, if you guys want to, unless you guys stop moving and really comb over the area, which they have not recommended that you do.
That's a nice roll.
So
It's like the opposite.
Zemdack, Argus, and Log would get advantage on these rolls. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were
Still
just saying
roll,
them.
You just
yeah.
don't get advantage.
Okay.
So
no,
survival or
that's where I
perception.
was confused at. My bad. Survival, right?
Survival or perception.
How would it work with Shikar? Because he
perception,
normally gets perception at advantage.
You can be just advantage with survival with perception for
It's all,
Shikar.
it's all
if you
your
want.
years underground.
It's fine.
Shane.
Can be
Yeah,
at
perception.
advantage?
Yeah, you can find because he's still in the dark, looking
Yeah.
around, see what he can find.
He is
he's
a
a bird of prey.
burrowing
Yeah.
owl.
He's
so
a birding
used
bird
to
of
being
prey. Yeah, he can
underground.
absolutely. Yeah,
I
totally.
mean-
He still has advantage. Yes. So go ahead.
13.
13. Okay.
15.
15.
24.
24. 12.
Nat 20 for Shikar for 23.
Whoa.
I mean, I rolled a 19, so.
Yeah. So this is really great. So what happens is that after about another 2 miles of traversal, you see that Shikar just kind of flutters and seems to stick to one like very like it looks like a stalactite that was made of like ore and iron or something like that was easier for them to just like bang and bend like a nail that won't go in anymore, so they just bent it down and pressed it up against the top of the ceiling that is still kind of just a bit askew that Shikar kind of lands on. It goes whoo, whoo, and just kind of like turns his head all the way around and kind of looks up. And Argus, you catch this first and you see it's weird because of the way this bent metal stalactite, because it has so much ore in it, is covering this area. In the way the shadows are hitting it, it looks like not necessarily flush, but just regular wall. But then if you hit it at a different angle, you see that it's actually depression, and it's a bit of an optical illusion.
Light up my hand and go like, look around.
Yeah, you look around and you see, if you were looking at it at the right angle, it looks just like regular wall, but there appears to be some loose rock there that is being caught by this bent stalactite that then possibly could have something else behind it that has a bit of a depression in it. So some already like collapsed boulders that are just being pulled up like Kerplunk, the game that's holding up marbles, by little like twigs and sticks, stuff like that.
I think we got a hole.
That's right. So we just sort of
You have to stay on brand. You have to go there.
Perfect.
God.
Man, our brand.
Now I'm just thinking of a situation. Go like, I think we got a hole.
Awesome.
You say to your wife, I think we got a hole. Oh, can I have one too?
That just made it so much worse when he said it that way.
Okay, we can edit that out, please.
We edit?
Adam, we can edit that out. Yeah. So so pick up. Yeah. So you see in the stalactite holding up a bunch of these boulders that there could possibly be an egress there.
How high up is this?
It's about 25 feet up into the air.
Cool.
This is a very large channel. I mean, this is about 20 feet wide by 25 feet tall. That's one of the reasons why it's taller is so that larger caravans that stack stuff on top can move through.
We're just gonna use the magic climbing rope.
That's what I was just thinking. We can just we can send it up to hook on, and it will knot itself to create like the actual climbing rope.
Perfect spot to do it too because you have this metal stalactite.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's why I was asking how tall it was because that thing it's a 60-foot thing. We can shorter it to 50.
This thing we've never.
If we knot
Who
it,
has it?
believe he does in the bag. If
Yeah.
not, I might have it.
I would assume it's in the bag.
Yeah.
Everything's in the bag.
Not anymore.
Well, let's put it this way: we normally
Zemdack takes
keep
a
the
moment
ones
to
that are ours and
pull
put the
out some
ones that-
celebratory ale and wine and be like, yeah, we're headed out of here.
My hands are free.
My hands are free.
yeah. So I pull out the rope.
You say the command word, which is, I don't remember.
Oh, then we tell it. Yeah, it does. It says you speak the command word. We never came up with a command word.
Really? It doesn't say one?
Yeah. Use an action to speak the command word.
The command word.
Yeah. Sorry. The command word I think is command word because he did capitalize command.
If you want to give it a command word, you can do it. Just make sure you're consistent.
And then we can even tell it to knot itself, and it'll knot and create those things.
Yeah, I'll say like
Naughty
with a
hole.
knotted rope, you don't need to like roll climbing checks. It just takes you time.
That's why we bought it.
Yeah.
Cool. You got it.
It's our first time using it.
No,
No.
we've used it before.
I used it once.
So then you had to come up with a command word.
Yeah, and I think I just said I used it. So
So
tie.
tie. As the rope goes.
Think of a better one later, but right now it's tie.
It plays Scheherazade, and then it just goes up and ties itself up.
Did we say
yeah,
bye to these people? Or did they left before?
and ties itself
I
nice
think we
and
don't
tight
say
to the
goodbye. I think we
stalactite,
just
and coils in the
fade
ground
away.
below.
I believe we're going. Well, at least we're going to check this way.
They just turn around, nod, and they continue walking.
Okay. Who wants to go up first to take a look in there?
You see, Zemdack, you recognize particular just like a small subtle gesture that is similar to the one that your brother was doing during that dancing moonlight thing. Like it was like this, and
I'll return it.
you got it. And they just do it like, and then keep on walking. You guys, so who's going up first?
I'm probably the one that can fit into smallest spaces.
I'm probably the worst one to go up into a dark hole first.
Yeah. Or I can send Shakar up there too.
Well, I'll climb on Konk's shoulders and then he'll stop at the top of the rope and I'll climb up.
Okay, cool. So there's like just the
You're
small enough.
piggybacking.
So you know how sometimes you lay down in some of those motorcycles and you like lean right into it and you're almost like laying fully on your belly and on your pelvis. You have to do that on the stalactite or you'll be squished up against the ceiling because it's not straight across, it's just a little bit, but there's just enough room for you to kind of scoot yourself in there and kind of straddle the stalactite, and you feel all of these rocks. Some of them are like around you that are pushed around more of the base of the stalactite that are keeping a bunch of the other smaller boulders, like about head-shaped size, above you. Now, it is still it definitely feels like there's some sort of depression or some sort of tunnel or something through there, but you'll have to get rid of all this detritus that is very precariously balanced upon the stalactite in order to continue. You'll also know that if you just start knocking stuff down, it can make a loud noise and a lot of boulders will fall to the bottom. You could get hit. Then there's a bunch of stuff left over of evidence that has happened. There's a bunch of things you have to consider when you're dealing with this. So go ahead. I know you have a spell perfect for this, but it's very high level, and I doubt you want to spend it.
I mean, we all have a spell that we could use to like move
Yeah.
stuff down
Can I-
very slowly and easily.
Can I take a second and look around and see if there's any markings?
Is interesting.
If there's any sort of like
Wow.
instruction, like markers, like is there anything
Oh.
that denotes where to start?
You're looking for thieves' cant.
something like a
that.
symbol of something.
Go ahead and roll an investigation check.
We don't have any thieves here.
No, 25.
25. There is something. Like right where you're standing as you're straddling down here, upside down and like on the top, so completely hidden. Unless you are on top of the stalactite, as you are, you wouldn't be able to see it. You see what looks like a symbol of Nox Etra.
Okay.
As Moonchild's down there.
But nothing that helps me figure out where it is.
It's just a symbol of the Nox Etra. Often, there's a reason why that's all they put there. Okay. Meaning, like, this is something that what you would understand from your dealings with all this and like knowing that, meaning that this does somewhere have some semblance of a safe passage to somewhere that does lead out and not going to make you suffocate in somewhere and be a dead end. It's going to lead out somewhere to be safe, and it is technically a smuggler's tunnel.
Stick my head back out and be like, I got to move a bunch of rocks, but I don't know the best way to do it.
Crowbar.
I mean,
I don't want all of the rocks to fall down on top of me.
What about this? And I'll manifest Mage Hand and be all like, what if you do this and we start handing rocks down?
It's a lot of small stuff that we got to figure out the best way of.
Levitate it.
do a chain of mage hands if you want.
That's kind of what I was thinking, Kind of like when a fire happens in the
Assembly
buckets.
line, yeah.
The problem with levitate is I can only do it on a single thing.
Okay.
Problem solving puzzles. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Hang on a minute.
So I can't just blast it.
I don't.
Moonchild sees you up there and is like, oh, careful.
I spread out a blanket and cast levitate on the blanket
Oh.
and use it to lift
Like an
all
upside
of
down
the
parachute.
rocks
Yeah.
out of the way.
Like that parachute blanket that used to play with on field day and
They still
in
exist, believe me.
elementary
Yay.
school.
It's still there.
Oh yeah. And then you used to put like the beach balls on it and like do the popcorn shake and all that stuff.
I hate those things.
Really?
So much.
Oh,
Yeah.
They're
God.
still there.
They're so much fun.
I had fun. Yeah.
I have such fond memories of that time.
My gym teacher liked to have us go underneath it and
Yeah,
then
you do.
fling volleyballs at it while it was big and expanded
Oh,
like that.
that's not
That sounds like fun. Oh, but you could get hurt.
like from the outside, right? So you can see.
To where you can't see it coming. at you.
Claustrophobia and loud noise. No, we were inside. Like we couldn't get hurt, but it was just claustrophobia and loud noise is not a good mix.
Okay,
Yeah.
so so what do? You create the. How long does levitate last?
Up to 10 minutes.
Okay, so you.
As it rises.
You like cast the sound of it inflating and spreading out as the blanket levitates under you, and so now you cannot see Zemdack at all because he's just a blanket on the ceiling. What do you do?
No, like
It's right under you. That's if you want it to catch the stuff that's falling, right?
I wanted to lift the loose rocks out of the way. Like levitate the blanket
Oh, to
up
push
into
it
the
up?
As
rocks.
like a big net.
So the hole itself is less than 5 feet wide. It is like maybe 3.5 feet wide. It's just enough for you guys to like worm, each of you to worm your way through. Like the dwarf is gonna have the worst time, but you're still gonna be able to like get
Besides
through.
Eleazar.
Right.
Yeah, Elias is gonna have the worst time. But, yeah,
That's like-
try to get through. But
Can
so
I
the,
like
it
put
would
it up against there and then cast levitate on it?
you can.
have it, like,
But
lift
the
up.
thing of what's gonna happen is that it's gonna then do this.
Okay.
You know, rather than be a cup because it's gonna push because it's larger than the hole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
but
the
I mean,
corners are gonna like.
it's a blanket. I could like fold it
Yeah, if you want to. Yeah.
to be the right size so that it.
Yeah, if you want to do that, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's totally fine.
Can
You
we
do
do
so.
the origami folding, like the little swan napkin, and then have it fly up?
he just origami fold the blanket into a cup somehow. So it doesn't matter. You got it. You do that, and it does press up against it, and you feel just like you hear just like this tiniest sound of stuff, but the force of levitate doesn't appear to be strong enough to lift the rocks out of place because they're quite heavy. So you might need to like push up against it as well, or something.
500 pounds.
It doesn't mean 500 pounds of force upward. It means it can hold its stationary in one space 500 pounds. Does that make sense?
It can lift up to 5.
Yeah. That, like, just pretty much saying like the magic
Okay.
can hold 500 pounds aloft.
then-
it doesn't mean it has 500 pounds of force. Does that make sense?
Once it's up, then I can like push it.
Yeah, you can if you like.
Okay.
So you do so, and you start to like kind of like through a blanket, try to like push pieces, and you hear things tumble, and then you start to like feel a lot less. You're pushing through, and you just feel like the popcorn. Like you only feel about maybe 3 or 4 large boulders on your hands before you just don't feel anything else, which doesn't make sense. There should be a lot more than that.
Peel aside the corner of the blanket.
You still see a bunch of boulders there.
Oh. Go like swipe lines down the blanket to like clean off all the small stuff.
Yeah,
And-
you got it.
All right,
Yeah,
guys.
you throw your hand through it, it just passes right through.
Okay.
Apparently there was just a small physical barrier of boulders, real boulders there, holding a illusion of much more boulders behind it.
Okay.
And like, what I mean by boulders is like skull sized. They're not nowhere bigger than that.
But I can have conch start to come up behind me and like kick those out of the way.
Yeah, I mean they're in the blanket now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Then I'll have
all
that.
of the ones that were physical are now in the blanket.
Okay. Have it wrap those up.
Yep,
and-
sure. Bindle it.
All right. Let's go.
Up we go.
Okay, all you guys go up. I'm not going to narrate this. This is stupid. It'll take you
Little
some
light
time.
before
Some
we
of
get
you
there
will
for me.
squeeze through. There's quite a bit of this tunnel where it is not comfortable. It is not meant for large people. This is meant for it to be a smuggler's tunnel for small-sized creatures. So the lithe of you are going to be okay. However, you're going to be crawling on all fours. Eleazar gets stuck quite a few times. His shield gets stuck on some things. His sword gets stuck on things, and y'all have to like push his butt and pull in certain places. And they're like,
Dude just missed a step.
you're like, he's like, to where? I can't see anything.
Well, no, I have my.
I see just your big ass in front of me.
That's true. I did light so that way I have at least some light.
So,
Mostly so I don't. walk in the
but
back
you
of
eventually guys make your way through. It's not fun, but
I mean, eventually I take the shield and the sword and put them in the bag. So
Yeah,
that
yeah.
They're not.
It's like
dragging
his
on
like
things.
armor. He just absolutely refuses to take up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's things get caught. You know, you learn, but yeah, you don't find get down. You don't find a. It's not impossible. You guys, it just takes time.
Yep.
You guys
Yeah.
make it through, no, but without issue. No, there's a couple like rumblings every once in a while, just because like you hit something and a bunch of detritus and like you get that those pebbles and other detritus in your eyes, and you're like, because it's falling down. It's just slightly sloped. It's like doing overhead work and having all of the stucco like fall into your eyes while you're trying to work. It sucks. So you guys eventually make it to a part that opens up a little bit more, almost like the shape of a stomach, just because it kind of curves around. It has a little opener area, and there appears to be two stalactites in this area that seem to be dripping into a small pond of water that seem to be what looks like some ashes nearby, like so some fresh water and some place to lie low. It actually looks like there have been so there's some empty crates here. It's maybe about like 15 foot wide. In here, there's enough room for you guys to all fit. Not necessarily comfortable. Maybe it's meant for probably maybe 2 smugglers to like let the heat die down for a couple days before they leave. So there's a couple things here. There is, from what you see, a bindle attached to one of the other stalactites that looks to be some preserved rations in case you need to wait here longer that have just been left here. This is a smuggler's hideout, like a tiny, very, 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 very mundane, like super basic smuggler's hideout just to wait for the heat to die down before you need to go somewhere if you steal something. This is you welcome the world of like clandestine Noct Tempest stuff. This is the kind of stuff that's happening. You don't have a rogue in the group, but you're kind of starting to get what's going on here.
If anybody needs to fill their water skins, this is probably our last chance.
Do we?
Yes, very good point.
For going into the desert.
Yeah.
It's quite deep too. It's like it looks like it's also been dug so that even though it drips slowly, it's not used very often. So gallons and gallons of water.
I will hide 2 bottles of rot gut behind the supply stalactite.
Oh, cool. All right, nice.
Being nice since we're you
We're
don't
using
steal
their-
from thieves.
We're
Yeah.
using their tunnel.
Do you put the
Right.
rocks back?
Yes.
Okay. You got it.
Fill up whatever canteens, etc.
I have 2 bottles of wine. Do we need the wine more, or should we fill those with water?
We have 2 casks of water.
Okay.
And somebody who can create or destroy water.
Yes. That I did
Although
prepare
it's his
today.
arch nemesis. He can do it for survival.
He needs it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll keep the wine then.
No. As long as we're not using it to put out the fire, he's fine.
Yeah, keep your wine. That's fine.
You are very familiar with, other than maybe Elven wine, but then again, it may be a little too big for its britches just because of how hoity-toity it can be. Maresian wine is the finest in the world. Some of the best grapes are made in the vineyards that survive off of the very littlest water and takes decades to actually procure a singular vine to make enough grapes for make enough vineyards to create enough wine. And because it's aged so slowly, it is infused with they actually get to infuse the soil with a bunch of different types of flavors and spices. So it's extremely artisanal. So the stuff that you've been drinking here, if you guys are intending to like trade with this type of stuff, good fucking luck, because they are. This is the good stuff. There's not a whole lot when it comes to resources here, but what they do have, they make it a point to make sure it's a very, very good.
Yeah.
The higher the heat swings as well, the more barrel characteristics your fermentables pick up.
Exactly.
over
Very,
time.
very good point. I don't know a whole lot about wine, but thank you for that. And that makes a lot of sense. Desert, very, very cold at night, very, very hot during the day.
So much more expansion and contraction, so that wood's constantly.
Which gives it more surface area to get those characteristics out of.
Yep.
spit back out.
So good wine here.
Yes.
But only in the places where it's able to do it, like oases
Oases,
and other types of things.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Katasova, Katasova, which is north of Babas, where a lot of the opulent live, outside of the protection of Babas, but have enough money to just hire people to deal with it, is one of the places that has quite a few of those vineyards that they just import water from other places. They do have an oasis, but sometimes they because they have more money than they know what to do with, just import water from other places and
To water their
vineyards and vines and orchids or whatever. It's not, endemic to the area just because they think it's pretty.
You go get some ice from up north and ship it down to there. It'll be water by the time it gets there.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, granted, the ice shipments that go there are they are hired some magicians and stuff to enhance the place to the carts and the transportation things to keep it ice until it is removed. But yes.
I mean, somebody with some dimensional storage things could
True,
a
temperature
lot of
controlled
money.
dimensional storage.
make a lot of money bringing ice.
That's why the ice industry is so profitable up north. That's one of their major exports. That's why they're still so viable. The ice industry is very, very, and it being so close to the desert.
That's like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great commerce. It's a great trade.
Do you have anything to replace the clothes that you gave away?
I bought 2.
Okay, just double checking.
I forgot I had the one, so I bought another one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then I found back in my inventory list that there was already a set of desert clothes up there.
Nice. Okay.
I remember you buying that. I was like, oh yeah, he must have lost his. At
That was
some
an
point.
early thing too, like
Yeah, we bought it down in.
Sasso.
Yeah.
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 Because you were like, I don't know, maybe we're going to the desert because
Right.
that's where you saw because he was wearing the the
wrap,
the
the
desert
veil.
wrap to keep himself from the sun when you met him the first time.
Yeah. So yeah, we were totally that.
Yeah.
I mean, we are just
where we thought we were
continuing.
going.
We are just finishing our initial trip from when we left Sasso.
Before
Just
we got
took a
signed.
while
Yeah,
before
the whole
we
thing
get
doing
there.
arcs isn't really my style. It's more like here's a spider web. Go where are you gonna go? Here's a bunch of hooks. Which one are you gonna go to?
Do we want to stay here? I'm assuming now it's been a couple hours.
Yeah, you could if you want. You guys have been traveling for most of the day.
That's what I.
Yeah.
If you guys want to long rest here, you can. You
Do we
guys want
want
a nap?
Before we do that, should we check just to make sure this tunnel's good?
Trisheni, when should we travel in the desert?
Night is typically better because
Even with the undead?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a very good point. The thing about traveling at night is just it's more difficult to see off in distances to see if there are threats. Granted, the light pollution out here is minimal at worst, meaning that the moonlight and the stars do give you somewhat of a dim light for a larger area to see what's going on. That also means the ambient light is also nil, but there's nothing to really block your vision from other places other than the dunes and other things. Granted, the undead are not the only thing in this
Right.
desert. When it comes to heat and environment, it is better to travel at night because while you're moving, your body produces body heat, and therefore while you're moving, you regulate your temperature better than during the day. Traveling during the day sucks. And it can very easily dehydrate you. This is when we're going to start to get into some traveling stuff with you, where almost every day y'all are going to have to roll Constitution saving throws because the environment here is exorbitantly unforgiving. What's up?
Not if we tiny hut in the middle of the day, because the inside.
The
of
tiny hut can regulate temperature to a point. It cannot entirely to a point, meaning like it can. If you are in vastly below zero temperatures or in the vacuum of space, the tiny hut isn't going to fully protect.
I mean, that makes sense, but the wording on the spell is literally the atmosphere inside the space is comfortable and dry regardless of the weather
the way I
outside.
interpret it is that it does as much as a second level spell can do when
Right.
it comes to that type
But
of
I mean,
stuff.
for like desert heat purposes.
I would
we
say
could rope
yes.
for it.
During the day, it would ameliorate.
hour.
If you needed to sleep during the day, yes, I would say that would be okay. I would, however, also caution you with the fact of a long rest is trying to cast it more than once or trying to help it protect you from something like that. Even during casting it during the day, because it can get up into 130, 140, 150 degrees Fahrenheit in the maw. It is insanely hot. There are times during certain heat waves and in the summer out here that it can reach 200
But it's the
degrees
winter.
Fahrenheit. Yeah. Well, it's winter here. It's currently winter in this hemisphere, but like during the summers in here, there are times where the surface of the sands, especially with the sun, can reach temperatures of 200 degrees Fahrenheit and burn to the touch. It is extremely hot and unforgiving here. So, meaning that it can help, but it's like waking up in your bed where you're only wearing underwear and you still sleep. And you get a good rest, but you wake up sweating. You're in your underwear. The AC isn't working. All you have is a box fan that's blowing at you, and it's still blowing warm air. And you're just sprawled out on your bed, being like, in the New York City, where like the heat just keeps in with the building, so it's like it's still 108 degrees inside. You could still sleep. It's just not super comfortable, and you'll still get a long rest. But that's what it feels
Cole
like.
dies of heat exhaustion, please burn his body. He doesn't want to come back as undead.
Yeah, I'm just letting you guys know, like, it will ameliorate the temperatures to make it mechanically plausible for you to get long rests. It's not going to be comfortable.
No.
I know.
Because the temperatures are just too extreme.
Basically, Cole's experiencing again what he experienced when he went with you to meet the High Emelet.
Same thing, since it is winter,
Constantly.
the nights
Yeah.
are far more dangerous now. Because it's best to travel in the maw during the autumn and the spring. It's in the winter now. So we're talking about vastly below freezing at the nights. Meaning you're going to have to keep yourself warm while you're moving. Meaning you need to bundle up during the night when you travel and like shed everything or cover yourselves during the day if you travel. Like,
Well, but it should be cooler during the day in the wintertime too, though. Maybe like
It will be,
80
yes.
to 100 degrees instead.
Yes, no, it will be. However,
just saying.
It will be. But the thing is, you have to remember this isn't Earth. So the sun is
Mechanically-
more oppressive, and the whole area is magical in a way where it is meant to fuck you up. So go ahead.
For long rest and exhaustion
Well,
purposes,
no, magic can't go through.
could we split our days? Like if we get a 4-hour rest and a 4-hour rest in a day cycle, would that count as a long rest?
Technically, you need to have 8 hours of uninterrupted rest to get a long rest. I understand what it is you're going with it because this is some
Like-
difficult stuff.
Travel in twilight and
Yeah, that's kind
dusk.
of what I was thinking there
Like
for a second.
we travel at the
It's possible. Here's what I'll say. That's a good point. Here's what I'll say. I'll say I think that no matter what it is you guys decide to do, you're going to have to roll Constitution saving throws for travel during the day. Right. Depending on how badly you fail will depend on whether it's heat stroke or freezing that happens to you, or whether you'll be like, well, fuck, we weren't able to like rally ourselves to be able to split up our sleep cycles. And I'll just tell you what the fuck happens. Does that make sense? Because I don't want to get too bogged down in the mechanics of this. I'll just say, hey, you had to sleep 8 hours during this because people couldn't sleep, and because of that you had to travel partly during the day, and because of that you get a point of exhaustion. Or you had to split up your days and you didn't have to travel during the worst of the heat or the cold, but the interrupted rest caused you to get a point of exhaustion, stuff like that. I'm not going to get too bogged down in the mechanics of this. You roll a Constitution saving throw, whatever it is you decide to do, and I'll tell you if you're exhausted. But having said that, it is very, very plausible and very easy to die from exhaustion traveling the Maw, especially for those of you that don't know what the fuck you're doing here. Trisheni, you know how to travel in the Maw. You do not have the facilities or the beasts of burden to do so properly. Does that make sense? Like there are supposed to be things like covered pieces of transportation, camels, or other types of beasts of burden that help with this types of thing. You are also not a seasoned Maresian caravaner. You know how to survive out here, and you, with your anatomy, know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, I'm not my sister though.
But you're not your sister.
Yeah.
Right? You're not your sister.
I am.
This isn't your favorite terrain.
No, Look, you just look like her sister.
No, I am. He commits to the bit. He's method acting. But yes, you're not your sister. If it was you alone, you'd be okay, and you would be able to not. For that purposes, I would say that you technically have advantage on all of your Constitution saving throws that you need to roll while you're out here.
Okay.
More often than not, you're going to succeed. You'll be fine. But having to then deal with these fucks that have no idea what the fuck they're doing, especially having to deal with somebody who's used to the exact opposite type of
Yeah, that's what I'm about to
environment.
say. I think since I'm from like the exact opposite climate of this,
So it's gonna prove
I
difficult.
kind of feel like
you
I
also
need to
don't
be
have any
rolling
beasts
at
of burden
disadvantage
other
for
than
my
Conk.
Constitution saving throws.
That's another thing you have to be aware of. Conk also has to roll Constitution saving throws, not because of the heat, but because of the sand, and because it can get in his gears and totally fuck him up.
With my heat resistance, does that matter at all?
Do you have resistance to fire, heat? I don't think it matters mechanically. I think
Okay.
that you would just be more
More
comfortable
comfortable.
than everybody else. Like you look at Cole and he's like absolutely dying, and then Argus is like, "That's okay, just a little sweat. I've had worse."
I have a feeling like being exact opposite, I probably need to roll at disadvantage on my Constitution saving throws.
If you'd like to,
Okay.
you may. I would say
Just
cold eyes,
Elliot-
cold eyes.
Eleazar's armor is only for him that gives off
he
that AC,
he
right?
keeps him cool. He's
has his
he's also
AC.
okay.
Yeah.
When it comes to this thing, again, this is like that's for more mild things like up to 100 degrees or maybe like really really hot and everything. This is intense, guys, and there can be just heat waves in the middle of winter out of fucking nowhere. It can just happen. This place is wild. It's the Maresian landscape. It's called the Maw for a reason. People die here all the time, just from a single day.
It's a desert. There's a reason that less than 10% of the world's waterfall falls in this area.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just Earth too. It's even less out here.
Yeah.
So, having said that, what I would say for you, Argus, is that the heat doesn't feel too much different than being next to the blood of the mountain while you're in the forge, except for all day long, without leather protections from without any like forge attire protections from said heat. And it's not just on your face; it's everywhere. So you're
the
okay.
most sweaty he's ever been in his life.
It's about time you actually dirty your clothes.
You guys can long rest if you like. Here. And then you decide what preparations you'd like to take before you continue on and possibly emerge onto the maw. That would bring us to...
Anything we kill? No taking hands. We burn it. You know that, right?
Should we even
I know.
bring his hands in there? Or?
There are no
It's-
hands.
it's
That's right. That's
fine.
right. It's
It's
only
only
if
if
they
they
die.
It's only if it
I'm
dies.
out of hands. Like, keep saying,
Log, you have two right there.
well,
And I mean,
yeah, but yeah.
I was gonna give them the glove because
I would
the Crystal Brand needs to know about this new terazine. They
Yeah.
don't know about it.
They said they didn't know about it.
Oh, that group didn't.
Right.
I was. Yeah, I would've
What day
given
did
the
we
glove
pick up on
first,
session?
Not,
That was-
not the Ninja Stars.
That was what I was planning.
This time? It was the first of
What do we
August.
start
wanna
this?
give
Yeah,
Actually,
Ankiel.
First
It was
of
the first of
Ankiel.
Ankiel.
First
I definitely didn't want to give up your Ninja Stars.
No,
Because
That's right, because I kind of did that little thing with the longest day and burning the logs and everything like that. Start that log burning for the fire. I probably would have just taken the ever-burning like lantern out and done that, but
I'll always
we
try to
did
have
something for it.
polymorph.
we did, yeah.
That morphing spell ready, then we can try travel with stuff. If somebody wants to try being a camel or a big old worm, we could try that and move extra fast. Nobody fuck with us. So I'll do that moving forward, and of course always have Sky Lounge ready too. But it's not gonna be easy.
we've seen all sizes of worms. Can you make a baby worm? Like just big enough for us to ride on top of?
I mean, I can try with who would like to be a worm.
It was an academic question.
Oh, okay.
Zemdack has the most experience. Oh, I guess I was just in a worm. I was going to say he's the most experienced in a worm.
Yeah, it depends on which end you
Spelunking.
want to go. Yeah.
I did get eaten one recently.
I think you would not be yourself. You would have the same kind of intellect as a worm, though. Just
So don't eat us.
Yeah, that may be a little risky.
yeah.
I mean, it's the same intellect. It might be you or I. We're not too much brighter than the worms.
I'm sure you're brighter than the worms.
Yeah.
I would like to hope so,
Yeah. Even,
but maybe not.
That seems risky.
but I mean, I can do it with other things too. So like if you want to be a stubborn camel, we can do that sort of thing. But again, I can only do it for once a day, and it's kind of like it's a lot of magic. So
How far away are we from?
From the boss, you think? You will have to wait until the evening once you're in the maw.
Oh, somebody would have
Guide
asked
yourself
the
by the
people
stars.
before we left.
so what?
We would have asked the
Well,
Crystal
but
Brand.
they would have known only from like taking the tunnel and everything
We're
like
only
that.
Like 6 hours from the next checkpoint. We don't know how far that checkpoint is.
6 miles, but yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that's what I said.
You said hours.
Okay.
There's also, if we get lucky, not before the next checkpoint, but after miles, maybe a day or two, we look for another hole.
Did I
Because didn't Papa Micah say something about the tombs?
Yeah, I mean, and
Yeah.
traveling underground, he did say is safer, but
Of course, it's safer. But
So maybe just to get past the checkpoint, and then try to find a way back down.
how long can somebody live in your hole?
My hole?
Yeah.
whose hole?
I mean, as long as you leave the top open, it's just an open. It's not like my bag where you suffocate if you're inside.
I'm just trying to think,
It's a hole.
if someone's tired and needs to sit in the hole.
It's gonna be. It was only like
That's true.
you and Eleazar probably can't squeeze into the hole.
Maybe Conk. If he's getting too much sand.
I don't know
in
if
him.
Log could either, but like
I don't know. Could they misty step into your hole?
I think technically because you can't see across the barrier,
Yeah.
it's not that easy.
Okay.
But you could put Conk in there, right? Like, or almost, because if the sand's gonna bother him.
I don't know how Con could fit in the hole.
Could he fit in the box?
I think so.
If you remember,
You want him in your box?
if you remember how
It's our box.
remember how the hole works. If I spoke correctly, I believe it's only 2 to 2.5 feet in diameter, and can stretch, but the amount of
other side
circumference
goes-
that it has remains consistent, meaning that it could stretch and become like a
like a
thin
rubber
line,
band.
like a rubber band, but less than rubber band because it doesn't stretch like a rubber band. It just can be. It's a circle
The
that you can
circumference
reform.
changes.
Right.
Like it's like a hole in a piece of fabric.
or a string with a knot in it.
Yes, more like that.
And Conk may get some sand in his gears, but I think I can keep him mostly working just fine.
Okay. I say we wing it. Are we resting here?
I think we need to rest here for the night at least.
Does anyone have any ideas of what spells I should be preparing for our fun adventure?
Create food and water.
Well, I got
With disembodied voice.
I gave you that freebie for
I got create and destroy water, and not actually create food and water.
Well, I've got good berries, so I'll prepare that tomorrow, and then we'll be good there.
We've got our rations,
Yeah.
besides the trail rations, not the good ones that we gave away.
I think your gentle repose
the
type
difference?
thing,
Oh,
so
yeah,
that we
always.
don't decompose if we do. And
I was gonna say anything for undead is
Yeah.
probably gonna be the
yeah.
best help.
How much water does create food and water do compared to? That's only 3. It's okay. It's 30 gallons for create food and water, and 10 gallons for just create. So first level spell is. I think I'll just do that because we don't need the food. Apart from just having random creatures come and attack us as we leave food behind.
Right.
Makes sense.
So
Is there any more?
All right. So just run down again how to dress in desert style, that sort of thing. Some of the survival things that I do know.
okay,
I
so
was
you guys.
sort of assuming that whole conversation about how we're gonna travel was you telling us how we're going to travel.
Yeah.
Does
Your
protection
outfit is
from
fitted in
energy
desert
help
fashion,
in this
Exactly.
situation or not?
and ye shall know the ways as though you were born to them.
Walk without rhythm, and you won't attract the worm.
Unless we do want to walk with rhythm and then attract the worm, and then we can ride it.
Are any of you worm riders?
We all rode a worm.
Yeah, we did.
Yep.
Purple worm.
Who's steering?
Me for a little while, unintentionally.
You guys can certainly make an attempt.
So you're
We
saying
saw how
don't
it was
use
done.
water walk.
Yeah,
I'll
we're
allow
not.
you to make an attempt. Okay, so once you guys are done prepping what it is that you wanted to prep for the day, let me know if there's any special type of preparations that you're making before you head out, because I would say maybe the next hour of travel will still be underground before you emerge.
Before we go to sleep, since I prepared it, do we have stuff for me to put water in?
Yeah, we grabbed a couple of casks back in.
Because I can, create 10 gallons of water with each of those spells in an open container.
Yes, I have 2 casks.
So we
You can always empty the casks of the alcohol that are currently in there and put.
No, we bought 2 casks. In,
Oh, okay.
So we can fill those up with water.
in Steer Crag.
There's also a bunch of other bottles of stuff that have alcohol in them
Yes.
if you wanted to empty them and just fill them up. Yeah. But just let me know what it is that you're doing and keep track of how much. I don't want to get too bogged down in the mechanics of that. It's just if I ask you, hey, how much do you have?
Yeah.
And then I think about, okay, how many days have you been traveling? And then I might be able to tell you, okay, you have this much left. And then if I ask you again, that when you can tell me how much is left, and I can make a judgment call. Make sense?
I mean, if you tell us how much we use, I might replenish it every time we finish 10 gallons.
If that's something that you want to be spending your magic on every day,
Probably. It's a first level spell.
yeah, because the 6 of you are going to need several gallons of water a day. Among the 6 of you, several gallons of water a day just to survive and not be dehydrated because of just how hot it is here and how cold and arid the atmosphere is. It's worse than Colorado, you know? So, okay, so anything else? Speak now or forever hold your bisque.
Do we have any means to turn whatever kinds of survival, like the tents and things like that, into more desert type appropriate tents and things? Do you think? Does that make sense? So like basically deconstructing the tents that we had gotten before, and so that we can be more like caravan type tents. In the
Yeah,
desert.
if you want to desert fashion your tents, you can.
I have a canvas. We can just have Conk stand there with his arms up and like
If you want to like
the canvas over him and spike down the sides.
if you want to cannibalize some of your tents in order to make something more of a yurt fashion, you can.
Okay.
Which should be fine, as long as Conk would have to be the middle tent pole for it.
Right.
But
That's
yeah.
that was
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll hold up the top, and then the rest of the tent pieces can create like some sort of yurt, which will actually be a lot cooler than a bunch of small tents because it'll be less surface area for all of this stuff, and it'll keep cooler under there. So
Yeah, and if we can,
larger shade.
if we have Conk not be allowed inside the bubble, we can have him be on top, right? Maybe, and then he acts as a tentacle, and then he helps keep it cooler.
So Conk is pretty okay with the temperature. Conk can, like, if he needs to, dip his hand into lava real quick and pull it out and be okay-ish. The problem is the constant exposure to this type of temperature can do things like warp metal, sand can get into gears, that type of thing.
Does the spirit of water that lives in him help keep him cool?
He's mechanically fine. He's mechanically fine. Don't worry about that. It's just if you choose to put Conk under a lot of stress in order to take the brunt of the stuff for you, then a roll might be necessary. Just because he's still a machine that is, it still has to be exposed to the elements, just like anything else.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else? Any other preps?
Don't think so.
Okay. So, you wake up on the 2nd of Hylock, if I remember correctly, then.
Our
Not Hylock.
Ankiel.
Ankiel, that's what I meant. Ankiel.
It's like we're not in Hylock anymore.
It's not Ankiel, it's Akiel.
Ankiel. I didn't write an N. I don't know why I said
Yeah.
So used to the Onkyo line.
It's because
Yep.
it's Ankiel line.
Yeah.
All right, so we go to
This is
sleep.
Ankiel line awareness month.
Go to sleep. Does Log have any craziness?
Just because I assume Cole would have cast
Yeah.
the
Ooh, yeah.
done his
That's
stuff.
a very good question. Red egg. Twig. You're still underground, though. No, I don't think you do tonight.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think you have any dreams at all. I think you just have a dreamless sleep, which is odd for you. You just like put your head down and then your head comes back up and you feel better, but you're unsure whether time actually passed because you don't remember anything. Great. So the rest of you all wake up on the 2nd of Akiel. You take the next hour to traverse the, again, winding and, annoyingly cramped area of being underground before you move through... Ooh, my back. Before you move through what now is becoming less of like dark stone and more limestone and other lighter types of color stone, oranges and whites and yellows. And you start to now see sand on the ground and start to see glimmers of light being reflected from some of the lighter colored stone about, where you eventually empty out into a larger cavern that seems to have what looks like worked tile on the ground, like worked stone tile. This appears to be some collapsed portion of some ruin from who knows how long ago. There are some indications of Maresian artistic style throughout, but whatever was here has long since been given its artistic valor away to the elements, and there's like anything left. There's very, very little of anything left, but you can see the sand within the grooves of the tile and some of the boulders of limestone that have fallen, and it looks like a cavern that then slopes up through much hot sand out into the bright daylight of the Maresian landscape. It does have a cavern that has a bunch of boulders that are in a bit of an arc, so you're kind of coming out of almost like a burrow type feel from this. So something that has some sort of ruin that has been swallowed by the dunes and the sands for possibly centuries, if not millennia or more.
Hey, look, Trisheni, the sky.
I just kind of like make a sand angel for a bit. Just
allow the sand to like get
Yeah.
into all of your short hairs, and just like when you brush a short-haired dog after they've been on the beach and all the sand just like flies everywhere. You allow it to get. You take a sand bath and you get it all in you. You can feel it on your puppy paw pads.
I take off my shoes. I usually do wear shoes.
Yeah.
And just,
You take off your shoes, which allows you greater grip. You're familiar with how to walk here.
Yeah.
You can move faster technically than anybody else here, for flavor-wise. But like, speaking of which, technically traversing the dunes and the terrain of the sands is all difficult terrain. This is not something that's easy to traverse. If you guys have ever run on the beach, it's not great. If you've ever been to the sand dunes in Colorado, that's further south, right?
Yeah.
Almost,
the
all
sand
that.
dunes there, if you ever climbed up them, it's not as easy as taking a hike up the mountain. It's far, far, far more difficult. For Mesheni, I'm sorry, fuck.
damn it, I didn't make the deal.
Trisheni, you are not affected by that. You know how to move without rhythm or whatever you want to call it, to be able to not be affected by the difficult terrain of the sands, but everybody else is. Having said that, your speed is halved while you're moving here, meaning if you have combat while you're here, your speed is halved. If you find rocky outcroppings, you have enough purchase, you'll be fine. But as long as you are in sand, it's difficult terrain. There are ways to ameliorate this, but you would have to improvise or find ways to do so.
Do we need to like carry Zemdack then?
I'm riding on Conk.
Speaking of which, because of how heavy Conk is, like he sinks down into the sand with his ankles. But because he's so strong and whatever, he just keeps chugging along, which makes sense as to how sand can get in his gears so easily.
Yeah.
Great, you guys come up above. It is day, meaning that the stars are not out. And Trisheni, you are very, very well aware that the main way of traversal in the sands, because everything in all directions looks exactly the same, the almost only way to find out what's going on and which direction you're going is by the stars. So which is another reason why people like to travel at night, because they know they're going in the right direction.
Hey, Colt, do you still have that cane, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you?
Yep.
That'll help.
North.
Yeah, it comes out and it shoots this bright beam of light, but you're like, the sun is so bright, you're having difficulty doing it, and you're like, can you huddle around to make a shadow? It's like trying to look at your phone on a very sunny day. You can't see it even at top brightness. So everybody's like getting around you to make a shadow so that you can see which way the beam is showing. And you come out facing north, or like more of like a northwesterly direction when you come out of the thing. So you realize you have to turn right a bunch. And if you're trying to head directly east. Now, You don't know how much off track you have come from the tunnel, although a safe bet is to head due east.
Right.
And figure it out from there once you're able to reorient yourself via the stars, perhaps.
Do I feel any kind of way now being in full sunlight?
Oh, yes. What would you like to do?
Well, just because I've sensed the
Like
things
not
happen.
like not by just coming out. You feel like I am connected to everything. That's not
Well, right, but
like,
I'm saying just like since the stuff that happened.
Sure.
Now that I'm outside and one of the things is full sunlight, do I notice anything? Do I feel anything? Having just been underground and then just because
Was
of the
one
changes.
of the abilities that gave you have to do with full sunlight?
Yeah.
Then that happens. I don't remember what it was.
Do you remember how you couldn't see us down below before? What can you see us now if you like warg into Twig?
mean-
Like because you couldn't see us like way up above. You were just like seeing the mountain. Could you see us now that we're no longer underneath the mountain?
I can try. I'll work in a twig.
You see your vision is like this big marble that's right in front of your face, and then it goes, and then it enhances, and then you see like moving through the clouds, not moving, but just zooming in through the clouds, and then this big Norwegian landscape, and you actually now get to see what it looks like. Now you understand why the map is drawn the way it is, because you get to see the maw. And for a moment, you have an explanation as to why it's called the Maw. The Razor Fang mountain range that comes up at one side is almost curved in one direction, and then there's another mountain range that's on the other side that's lesser, nowhere near to the egregious extent as to the western part of the Razor Fang. That's on the other side of the Maw that almost curves in this way, almost looking like these two massive jaws of these mountain ranges that surround the Maw as if it's about to devour the entire area of the continent. And the Maw stretches for thousands of miles in a northern and western direction, and hundreds, if not more, in an eastern and westerly direction. And you used to see it zoom in until you just see like white and yellow again, and you still feel like it's zooming, but more white and yellow and white and yellow and white and yellow and white and yellow until you finally start to see tiny little specks of blackened, darkened stuff that it finally zooms in on, and there are 6 tiny little specks of figures besides some sort of orange rock that is very difficult to see, that you see from a bird's eye view.
I start moving so I can confirm that it's us.
You see like these tiny little threads of like hair move away from one of the specks.
I can see me. I can see you. Can you?
Can you see this? And I cast Firebolt into the air.
Yeah, I did.
It's like hard to see because just how
Cole,
bright
stop
everything
shooting
is.
out flares. We're trying to hide here.
That's a very good point. Yeah, you absolutely just set a fucking flare into the sky. Into this clear blue sky.
All right, well, now we've got to move, guys. Come on, let's go.
I think we need to go that way.
You start moving. Oh, wait, no, that way.
That's a very good point. It did, whatever your bird's eye view was able to zoom in, it was very, very difficult to see just because of how far away it was. But parts of the zooming in, you do see specks of other things going on. Smaller settlements and even larger cities like Babas would still be impossible until, except for only fractions of a second, perhaps. Granted, you're not near enough to it for it to be part of one of the zooms in that would be close enough to really make out that it is a city. So until you get closer to something like that, that type of orbital viewpoint is not going to aid you in any type of direction just quite yet, because it only seems to be in geosynchronous orbit with you.
So if I saw the Razor Fang, then I know that we're what side that's on and what side we need to go.
Yeah, you could get basic directions just like they would. You would also be able to tell, I would say, since this is in geosynchronous orbit and it appears to be rotating, as far as knowing which way to go, you wouldn't be able to tell, but knowing taking a moment to know what orientation it is from the zoomed out perspective before it zooms in. If you're going in that direction and it is oriented in a north, south, west, and you know what I mean, then you might be able to infer some stuff. But all that I think would lead to a roll because all of this happens in fractions of a second.
Plus, it's log.
Yeah, and it's also log. So, yeah, so probably not the best to do orbital calculations.
Right.
I should be, but I'm not.
It's wisdom.
There's a moment then where like you start moving, and after the fireball goes, that the image just like turns black to a second, but not like quite black, kind of like that look of when you close your eyes and you looking up at a bright thing, so it has that red kind of look to it, as if you're looking through your eyelid at a bright light. Before it opens, before an eyelid opens, and you see and hear from much short stature down closer to the sands, and you see your butt.
Well, that's
from
weird.
behind. You see yourself walking from behind.
You can
Turn around.
You turn around and you're looking at yourself. Log turns around and looks at you, Zemdack.
Me. Where's your egg?
In my coat pocket?
There's like a little hole in his coat pocket that the thing is chewed out. It's
Oh,
looking
no.
through.
I fed that to the thermostat.
The thermostat? I thought it was the egg.
It was the egg.
It was
Was
the
it the
egg.
egg?
It was in
Okay.
the notes. The egg, yeah. The thing is like chewed a little hole in his pocket. It's like looking out with one eye.
Whoa.
Wait, are you seeing through it?
You asshole.
I thought you were in Twag, not in the egg.
Well, no, it's first it was up there, but now it's
I don't
in
think
that. And
Twig is an actual being anymore.
I don't know. It's making me kind of dizzy now. I'm gonna get. I'll work out.
I'm
Getting dizzy.
all right.
Did you see good stuff?
Hey,
Since I can ask you now that you can hear me.
Well, I could hear you before. No, yeah, that's right. I couldn't hear you. I saw us. I saw you. I saw you, and you, and you.
And you were there. And you were there.
But like,
You
but
were
it-
there as well.
But it was like just like our heads and shoulders. Like I could see your faces, just like like I was looking down.
Okay. All right.
And then I saw my ass.
But you didn't bend over to see.
No, because then I was in his pocket. I saw my ass from his pocket, from the
Which we deduce. Yeah. So yeah,
It's just always devolved. Into this thing. I don't know how. Like no.
This is what you give me. This is.
I know.
I mean,
I know.
and literally,
I
it's
just-
not anything you're doing. It's
No,
all on us and our
It's just
horrible brains.
the chances of there being that much innuendo is just.
Always.
It's
just a
there's always a
constant.
way.
this.
Innuendos, find a way.
This is the way. Innuendos. Find a way.
With log, absolutely.
So, do we want to go now, or do we want to wait till?
Well, I mean, we need to move at least away from here.
Yeah, we need to travel a little bit given the.
Cole just shot a flare.
I got all excited. I'm sorry. It's a little premature.
Oh, come on. You're just doing it on purpose.
Sun near the
That one
horizon?
was, yeah.
Like, is it still early day or late day?
I think it kind of depends on when you. I would say it's like before noon. But like not very much. If you had to take a guess, with the winter sun moving across the sky, maybe like 10:30, something like that.
All right.
So do we move that out further into this stuff? Because you said we shouldn't travel during the day. Or do we go back inside and hang out until later?
That's a good question. I don't want to go back inside, but what if we?
Oh yeah, you kind of fucked that because you shot a flare.
Yeah. What if we travel a little bit, and then we could make a little hut or something to kind of just shelter us. I'm also thinking that maybe if I use, the thing that for building stuff, I can kind of take the sand, make like a little.
You make a sand hut.
Make a sand hut, but also dig out a little bit of the sand, so then it's like walls, so then it's cooler down below in the dune, and then up and above. So it
Point
gives
of
us a
order:
little
if
bit.
you use fabricate on sand, you can make glass.
Right.
So
Yeah, I don't want to
you
make.
can make like frosted glass too. You can make it pretty much whatever you use. If you want it to be opaque, you can make it opaque.
Yeah. But
Yeah, we might want that underneath us because I don't think we can create floors in that thing. It's good around the outsides, but
yeah, for the
throw a
actual
fireball
dome.
and
But
see
I'm
how
thinking
far.
like we could, yeah, we could burrow and save and sleep in that, and that'll last. It'll last. It'll be there. It'll be a permanent structure.
start save.
Yeah.
But let's start walking.
Yeah.
When it comes to survival in the desert, you're familiar with. You should have a fire at night, otherwise you could freeze. But a fire also gives away your position in if anybody doesn't have a dune between you and them. And during the day, it's best not to be moving if it's very, very, very hot, which most often it is.
That flame charm, does it put off? It puts off heat, right? Or no? Remember?
It has to be in.
It has to be in a fire.
Okay.
So the fire has to already exist.
All right. Damn it.
It's not really like.
It enhances the campfire to
It just
Okay.
be better. Yeah, let's start moving
Yep.
Yeah.
east.
just lets you re-roll ones. Or one turns into a 2.
Until it gets absolutely too hot to move.
Barely enough.
We'll figure out a camp.
Yeah.
It's
Let's do
we
it.
stole.
That's
a family heirloom.
So you guys begin trudging east across the unforgiving Maresian landscape. I'm going to have everybody roll a Constitution saving throw for your first day traveling during the day across the desert. I also want somebody to roll a percentile die for me.
If I'm riding Conk, do I need to make one and him, or just him?
Yeah, because you're still getting hot.
Okay.
So to con save.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
10.
10.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20, okay.
7.
Oh, no. What's up?
16 and a 19.
Okay.
15.
15.
I'm assuming.
You have
Shakar-
advantage. We talked about it.
I know.
Oh. So
I'm assuming
DC
Shakar doesn't need to because he's a
Fake creature. You could.
fake.
Yeah, no, he doesn't actually suffer from exhaustion.
Yeah.
So it doesn't.
Well, and same thing with
Oh yeah,
Moonchild.
percentile.
Yeah, Moonchild is ethereal and Tweg is mechanical in this sense. Tweg is mechanical in the way that he has no room in his creases for sand to get into, so he doesn't need to be doing it either.
Jesus.
Throw it down.
No, I went like that. 97.
97. Okay, cool. So the DC on this time for your first day, just so I know, just so you know, was 15. So you just barely got it. Anybody below that gains a point of exhaustion.
Okay.
And as Argus and Cole, you realize just how you were only traveling for maybe like 5-6 hours before you realize like, holy shit, like how do people live here? And Trisheni's just like like super happy to be in the sun. She's like twirling around. She's like, come on. And Cole, oh my God, this is very, very makes a lot of sense for you. This is the most miserable you've ever been.
That disadvantage is a bitch. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it's probably you're sweating in parts that you didn't know you had. You're getting sand into parts of your body that you didn't know you had. You hate every moment of this. So
Gonna take you up north and let you deal with the snow sometime.
I'll say at that point is when the sun starts to become more on the horizon, like a sunset type of deal, and becomes less oppressive to you as far as mechanical wise. Meaning that you can, if you wish to press on a bit, move through the night a little bit. Now, what I will say is that you can press on. It's totally fine. meaning you just travel a little bit more than this one. I will give you, when you do decide to press on, I will give you a Constitution saving throw. Sometimes you don't need to roll a Constitution saving when it comes to pressing on, but in this environment, just because it's so bad, I will make you roll a Constitution saving throw. It is not anywhere near as difficult as being baked under the oppressive hot sun. Make sense?
Yeah.
Do you wish to press on, or do you wish to break, or what is it you'd wish to do?
I think we should.
Break.
I think we should press on a little bit more too.
I can keep going.
I hate this place.
There might be a point at which Conk may have to like carry Cole.
I can trade places with you.
Yeah, do you-
If you want to piggyback ride on Conk, that's fine. Just make sure you keep your arm away from him, because he'll bite.
Do you guys want like a few minutes of just flying? You can just move with your mind and just be cooled off by the air up above.
I mean, if you want
Don't
to
go too
use
high.
that spell, but
No, I mean,
if we need to press on, I can press on. It's
I'm just, you're very radical. I mean, I just,
Is it always this hot?
Yes.
this is
Oh,
actually
yeah,
pretty
Cole
nice weather.
Is porcelain. You have the desert garb on, but like I would say, like the wrists are, you are pink as a lobster right now. Like you're gonna suffer some bad sunburn. Yeah, not a great look.
This is not the right type of heat.
Yeah. No, it's you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trisheni, you're good. Like, although you have like a very dark coat, the way your body has adapted over and evolved over the years for the anatomy of the people that live here, it just works.
It's
for
fine.
You,
Yeah.
you let the heat out, and it gets caught by your fur before it hits your skin, and then is radiated out, and so it keeps you cool. Guys, pressing on.
I mean,
Or
yeah.
are you trying to sit down, or so? There's a couple things you can do.
3 votes for pressing on, so I think we're pressing on.
Okay. You can. There's a couple things you do that I wanted to talk about for overland travel. You can take a moment to repair, scavenge, hunt, press on, establish a perimeter, treat injuries, cook, analyze, or rest. Make sense? There's 9 things that you can do.
Can you say that again? Just a
Sure,
little
I'll take my
slower.
time. So, repair, scavenge, hunt, press on, bark, establish perimeter, which makes sense. This is exactly what he was doing. Treat injuries, cook, analyze, or rest. And those are 9.
No.
So if you're choosing to press on in this moment, so for example, if conch or other machinery stuff starts to break down, you might have to spend the day doing repair and stuff like that. If you need to scavenge in order to do the types of, I know you are an artificer, you have a particular ability in order to be able to repair him. This is more of like, rather than just mending broken bits, you have to take him apart and clean him out. It's a fucking process, because that's a thing. And you also then have to set up like some sort of sterile environment so that a bunch of sand doesn't get blown back into him. It's a pain in the ass. This isn't Conch wasn't built to traverse this type of landscape. He was built to traverse vertical landscape and not sand. Granted, he's pretty good with it. You did your seals as best as you could, but still stuff happens. Scavenge is going to be, should there be an opportunity for you to scavenge in a desolate, like should there be an oasis, some trees, some ruins, some rocks, that would be that type of thing. Hunting, same deal. Pressing on is obvious. Establish a perimeter, that's the type of thing that if you feel you may be in danger, would give you some advantages to being alert to threats, making sure that if you feel suspicious of something, or yada, 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 or especially in this type of landscape, how undead could just come upon you at any moment, establishing a perimeter. I wouldn't say like it would take the whole day, but it might be something that would take the majority of the day just to be like, we need to stay here and we need to be on guard for threats, would be that type of thing. Treat injuries is pretty obvious, self-explanatory. That's when you guys get fucked and you just take a moment to just the day to make sure you're back to traveling fit, because there might be, the way we're doing this type of travel, especially in more difficult environments like this, a little less more mechanically than how 5e likes to deal with it, whereas just you heal and then you just keep on going.
Yeah.
If you get fucked up here, you need to take some time to fix yourself, because traveling is extremely strenuous here, and you can't do it just from healing a bum knee with the cure wounds. It's just stuff needs to be treated. Cooking, obvious. You take the day to prep stuff to make sure that you have rations in order to move forward, because all that is important. Analyzing is things like making sure you know where you're going with the stars, going through the stuff that you have, investigating, taking time to do arcana checks, that type of thing. Most likely done under the cover of like a tent or a cave or whatever you happen to do. And rest is obvious. Cool?
Yep.
All good? All right, so you guys decide to press on. Let's everybody roll another Constitution saving throw.
I'm going to cast freedom of movement on myself.
Okay. You got it. So that the difficult terrain does not affect you? Is that what it does, or it just means you can't be grappled?
Difficult terrain doesn't.
So just non-magical means can't affect your movement?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
That's more the old school one where you can't be like grappled and stuff like that.
I think it does both. You can't be restrained or grappled, or
Okay.
non-magical terrain cannot affect you. Yeah.
So
ahead.
I can move on the sand. Without
What'd you get?
19 and 21.
19, 21, you guys are both fine.
11.
11. You're okay.
Nat 1 for a 2.
Oh, no. So I think... hold on. Let's go to Cole. Go ahead.
I got a 14.
14. You're okay as well.
Nice. Okay.
The temperature has started to decrease now that the sun is beginning to set and is now sitting on the horizon. But you guys do push into a little bit of the early evening. Log... I think that... I don't think Log has ever been in an environment where it's just flat and duny and just open and everywhere. You've been to places like the Rubicon Plateau where it's like Monument Valley. And it's kind of like high desert, but there's stuff and there's walls that move around and like you can tell where you are. And I think Log might be just being like, where the fuck am I? I'm supposed to know where the hell I am. Like, I'm not okay with this. It's just repetitive up and down and up and down and up and down. And Log's just like, I think a little bit out of their element, just not really into it. You were okay being underground. You were okay being in places that had tall, high rises and moving around and caves and traveling through the woods and yada yada. But the desert, everything is in your fur. It doesn't feel great. Although you have any fur.
No, it's been grown back.
It's been grown back.
It's been grown back.
It was temporary. It's been grown back. Like all the sand is in your fur. Rather than her, she's very much used to this. It's very uncomfortable. It's all in all the bits
All
and
the
pieces.
crevices.
Yeah,
It
it's
is all-
not great. You will suffer a point of exhaustion as well, just by like it's. You know that feeling where you're wearing something and all of a sudden you get really, really hot and you just have to take it off? Like it's okay until it just isn't. That's kind of like what you feel, except you want to take your fur off and you can't.
I'm just walking naked through the desert.
Yeah. You just shed your stuff and start throwing it down on the ground, and Zemdack is picking it up and throwing it into his bag.
I'll be honest. I don't think Cole would bat an eye if Log
Yeah.
just got naked and started walking.
Yeah,
through
I
the
don't think
desert.
Cole cares at this point because Cole's thinking, I wish I could do that. Go ahead.
I got
con
it.
save.
I got a nat 20.
Oh, yeah, you're fine. You're totally fine. Yeah, you start to like talk Log through. Go like, hey, look. So if you cut your hair in like specific ways, it doesn't get stuck in certain spots.
Yeah, if you do a little scaping, it's
Do what now? What?
right. So
You pull out the shears. Let's go.
a little butterfly knife.
Oh my god.
What do you think? It's like a straight razor.
Yeah. You see Trisheni with the straight razor going, or with the butterfly knife going at Log.
I mean, she can always pull out the comb and like pull it out and just straight razor it off.
Exactly.
As the dust clears, you see this poodle Log. Okay, cool. So
good.
you have reached a point where you are now about like
Welcome to the club.
I want to say it's somewhere nearing about like 10 p.m. Where you are starting to get like, well, I think probably a little later, maybe about like early morning, maybe like 1 a.m. Because you kind of like pushed through and tried to continue pushing on. Meaning that if you went to sleep and slept for like a nice 8 hours, you'd begin your day around sunset. Right, 8 hours from like
No, midday.
midday, I suppose. Yeah, but then half of your regular day, rather than pressing on, would be tonight. Meaning, like, so here's the deal: you would need to like press on one more time tomorrow to make your schedule be set in a nocturnal rhythm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't want to fuck with time too much. Just fucking roll with it. So, does that make sense? You okay with that? Cool. Now would be the time if you want to press on again, you can, and not have to do that again tomorrow, but you'd have to roll it again. Each time you press on consecutively, the DC gets higher for obvious reasons. Make sense?
We already got some exhaustion. Let's.
So technically
Yeah.
today now is the 3rd of Aeon, because it's now like 1 a.m. But we're just, when you long rest, it's still going to be the 3rd. Make sense?
Yep.
I don't want to fuck with all that. Somebody else keep track of that because you're going to be traveling via night, which is weird how things, the day changes at midnight. So what's up?
I'm counting heart days.
Yeah.
Oh,
the third
right.
is a heart.
Yeah, that's why I was counting.
So
I failed on the
So
last one, so
technically
it's somebody
you
else's
could roll
time.
for it right now if you want to, because it is the 3rd. Any time of the day you can roll.
I
don't
rolled
really give a shit.
before that.
I rolled recently. I think last time I rolled.
Didn't we agree not to let Ken roll me?
Hey, I got one.
You did get
Yeah,
one. It's true.
That's how we got logged back.
Nope.
halfway there.
One face away.
Okay. So, you guys, how would you guys like to set up your camp this evening? If anything special, if not, you can just do the whole like yurt style.
Do you want to
deal?
use your thing?
Yeah, we can try it if you want, and that way it'll give us a little bit extra protection if you want to also use the dome. So,
Yeah.
okay. I'll take 10 minutes and kind of think about having basically take the sand, form it into almost like sandstone type blocks, and create a little bit of a dug out plus then walls up and around. So it can't be too big. It's like 5, basically.
Try to make
5
like
foot.
a frosted adobe cut kind of deal. Frosted glass adobe.
Not glass.
Not glass?
Not
Wait.
glass.
Sandstone.
You want to
Sand-
make it sandstone? Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
because that's actually better for
Yes.
temperature regulation
Yes,
in
it
the
is.
desert. So,
He's just trying to kill us. That's all. It is.
yeah, but
You
Make
burn
us into
my
Grand
hands under
House.
my magnifying glass.
but exactly. So underneath, so it's protected on all sides, but again, it's only like 5 feet ish around like everything.
Okay, cool. So it'll be
each way.
cramped, but it'll be set into the ground a little
little
to
bit.
keep it a little cool. You got it.
Yeah.
I would say I believe it's small enough to put the dome on top of it, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So if you want to like put the dome on top of it with that as well, it'll help with the temperature as
Yeah.
well. It'd be nice
You
and
want to
comfy.
do-
Yeah, we
It
can
also
do that.
means that this structure will persist after you leave.
Do we need more than one hut or just the one hut?
How many do we have?
Well, because I can do a hut, you can do a hut.
I know it's up to 9 in the hut. That's why I'm asking.
Anybody else not sleeping out here is going to be in danger of
Right,
whatever's out there. So
but I think
say
getting
we all cuddle in.
yeah, try and get as many into one hut as possible that we can do. If we can use one hut. One hut's the ideal.
Yes.
Well, it's 9 creatures, right? So that's like Conch, Moonchild, Twag Shakar.
There's only 8 of us now. No, 7 of us now.
Twig and Shakar can hang out
Twig and Shakar,
outside the.
yeah. I don't know if they count in that number.
Eleazar, his mount.
No, but his mount,
his mount
you
can
can like just
disappear.
you can
Yep.
summon it and
Yeah, so there's 8,
Eleazar.
there's-
Well, there's the 6 of us.
and
Conch and
Moonchild
Moonchild.
and Conch.
Do we
So
need
there's
rolled
8.
exhaustion for Eleazar?
Yeah.
Probably
That's
should.
he's taking care of that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Eleazar has 1 point of exhaustion.
So we're okay with one hut then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll just keep the familiars outside.
Yeah. They're on guard anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So take my 11 minutes, cast my dome.
And you're doing the thing, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me do that for you, Log.
Thank you.
I give Log a nice mental fortress for the evening.
I chug my water without heating it up.
Whoa.
That's
Are you okay? Are you feeling good?
Yeah, fantastic.
It's already kind of heated.
Kind of, yeah. I
Was
know
it
you typically like it a
boiling
little-
from the outside? Or?
I pull mine out.
I wanted to know what a cold water
Yeah,
tastes like.
cold.
We lost Argus somewhere. This is some evil creature.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, what's the point in heating it up? I'm already plenty hot.
That's fair.
It's gonna boil once it's inside anyway. That's how it feels, at least.
Yeah. I won't tell your mom though, for sure, because she scares me a little bit.
She scares everybody.
So now that the sun has gone down and you guys have set up camp, and the light pollution is gone in the sky, you can see the stars. Should you guys try to would like to get a better coordinate of what's going on, it may take some time, but it could give you a better idea as to where it is that you're headed and what your orientation is.
Okay.
I'll take some time to do it, but I can use that also with my rapier to kind of help us.
Sure.
Yeah.
Are any of
Just-
you like? I
was
know
gonna
you're
ask
trained
this.
in this, but are any of the rest of you trained in like star mapping,
Navigational.
thing like that?
I mean, I do like the moon stuff.
Yeah. Okay. I would say that
And
as
I'm
well.
trained in survival. That's all I am. So.
Okay, I would say that with the help of Log and Trisheni, any three of you could get advantage on a survival check that you would like. Just one of you you just get to choose who would like to roll it.
Probably Cole.
I'm
I'm not trained in survival.
a +6 on survival.
So yeah.
Definitely.
So Trisheni, you walk around like this is constellation is, and then you're like of the dog chasing a carriage, and
Okay. Thank God for advantage. 25.
it was like a
30.
1 and a
1 and a 19.
30.
Yeah.
30. We'll make it a 30.
Oh, flash of genius. You're like, I got a 30. I'm like, no, you didn't.
No, he got a 30.
Yeah.
I rolled a 1 and a 19.
Wow. Nice. Okay, so
And the same color too.
now I would say because it's so well, Cole, you're now familiar with in this hemisphere, in this region, what the constellations that pass through here, especially in the winter season, are like the Maitan chasing a carriage, the lonesome pyramid, the upside down ziggurat, a bunch of other things. The Dune deity's throne. There's a bunch of things that are called in these types of abstract constellations. You also understand that you've been traveling just a little bit further south than you should have been. You weren't heading exactly due east, or you were heading kind of where it is you needed to head. You also understand that there are trade routes, as Trisheni knows, that do travel through the dunes, because the dunes shift so much constantly. Every time there's a storm, there's no roads. There's nothing beaten onto them. But it's just people that have traveled them for so long just have an innate sense as they know where they need to go. Now, you have an option here of whether you want to try to see if you can align yourself with some of the the easier routes through the dunes rather than going up and down and up and down and up and down the dunes, which may be easier by going that further south way and just kind of winding, or trying to go directly toward Babas. It's up to you. Because you know where Babas is now based on your current position.
Okay. So, based off everything, especially thank you so much, Trisheni, for helping me with that. It looks like, pulls out the map, the big map that we have. Looks like Babas is like over that way from where we're at now.
Okay.
Looks like we went a little further south today than we were meaning to.
Okay.
Do we want to try and keep going that way? Because that's where we're like, the trade routes from the south were becoming, we could try and find one of those and work our way. Or do we want to keep going up and down and, as the crow flies to Babas? Or whatever bird you have out here, the buzzard flies.
It's true. There are some ravens sometimes, but I think if we were to come across a trade route that it may not be the best. Oh, normally it'd be fine, but what's happening with the zealots and everything?
I would expect the zealots to be like watching the trade routes.
Yeah, exactly. And then we just wander out in the desert. No, so maybe we just tried to kind of go in between the dunes a little bit, save our energy, but meander slightly and keep just going on our own way towards Bebas. I mean, what do you all think?
You want to
Is
try
that
to split the difference?
Yeah, it's kind of
Okay.
what we're deciding on.
still
So you
not-
won't
yeah.
go the way the crow flies, but pretty much I'll say you'll do your best to go the way the crow flies while taking the
Easier
route of
route.
least resistance along the way. If that means that you have to veer almost in a 90-degree angle before you come back, that's fine. So it'll be more of a windy path, but it'll be less treacherous as far as it'll be less. It may take a little longer, but it will be less up and down and up and down and up and down. What I'll mean, and I'll reflect that in the DC of what it is that I'm applying during your travel, and among other things, among other random encounters and things that would become possible. Because when you go up and down dunes, when you're at the top of a dune, you're far more visible than when you are just traversing the valleys of dunes.
Unless you guys want to do what I did with my sister when we were kids. And create some sleds and we go sledding down the dunes.
We can do that here. It's
Yeah.
so much fun to go sledding.
I know. We
It
could
just
totally,
sounds like a sandy mess.
but it's
No,
so fun.
thank you.
You and I can go do that one.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Maybe when we
Hitch some
don't.
stuff to Moonchild and just ski-or across the desert.
Maybe when we don't have to keep walking for hours afterwards.
Yeah. We don't,
Well, no,
we
but
can
here's
set
what we
up
do is
the-
we walk up to the top and then we ride the sled down and then we're not, going up's hard. Going down is harder.
Then why the fuck do it?
No. Going down is harder if you don't have a sled.
Yeah.
But then you get to the bottom and you're covered in sand and you've got to stand up and keep walking.
Don't
No,
you
if
have a
you-
spell for that?
I do, yes.
So do I. We're all good.
Yeah,
You and I are at least good.
Me. Emphasis on me.
You have a spell now.
It's a good point. We use prestidigitation and clean conch of all
Yeah.
the sand.
Yeah. I'll say that's something that you do at the end of every day.
So we could use the
Him,
warm
like
face
getting sand in
as
his
a
gears
sled.
is something during the day that's like, hard to keep up with. That type of thing. Because at any moment, a single grain
Right.
could go in the wrong place and
Yeah, yeah.
seize him up, and then it's it.
But
So that was something
preventative maintenance, I'll
Yeah, you
keep
got
it
it.
as
Did,
clean as I can.
like when I was a kid, we would get like some shields and we would ride the shield down. Because you can hold the shield and it's very circular. It's a lot of fun.
Exactly.
Right, so the worm face, we just ride that.
You can. I might try to find like something else, like what Cole was saying, like a shield or something.
I assume my magic shield will be fine, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I
Magic.
get all scratched up.
Toothy wouldn't be a good sled. Dig into it.
That would be bad.
All right,
Okay.
So we'll try that at some point here, and
So, while you guys are having discussion, you've set up the dome and you've set up the place, and then it's darker and there's less light pollution. Passive perception 18 or higher. Okay, the two of you notice across the way, just in the valley between two dunes, you see something glinting of light, some sort of light source. Not like an ambient light source, but something like almost as if there was like a mirror reflecting some sort of light, but not like a mirror. It appears to have a color to it. It appears to be stationed and not like moving back and forth. It appears to be just like if you move it, like you get the glint of it. And if you look at it the right way, it doesn't appear to be in motion.
It doesn't mean
appears to
like, it doesn't look like they're like,
No, it doesn't
doing
look like
flashing
somebody's
light with a mirror. Yeah. Okay.
It looks like there's something over there that seems to be
Reflecting a
reflecting. It
specific-
Shenny, what is that?
appears to have a bit of a blue hue to it.
now when he points it out, can
It's very far away. Well, you don't know.
I try to figure out what it is? Because he asked if
Night in the desert.
I mean, it's right there
Night in the
between
desert,
the two dunes.
yeah.
I'm asking the person who
You
should
can,
know.
if you'd like, go ahead and roll a perception check for me.
13.
13. It has like a blue tint to it, and what appears to be some sort of like glassy texture, perhaps, but it's quite far away, several hundred feet away. And it's something that's just peeking above a valley between two dunes, meaning that most likely there's probably a deeper depression after it. So you're only catching like perhaps a portion of what it is.
So,
Would it?
you gonna flash your car over there and take a closer look?
I can, yeah. Yeah. Go off, little buddy. See if it's an oasis. I'll warg into him.
Flies off. You warg into him. As he passes over there overhead, you see this depression between the dunes that stretches quite a bit, and it is covered in sprawling crystal. You see atop of what looks like perhaps a reaching spire, what appears to be a much more concentrated piece of terrazine surrounded by a bunch of spent terrazine. There is a huge, perhaps like 2 acres of just sand that has been turned into terrazine.
You said there's spent terrazine around the
There's
edges?
spent terrazine. It looks like a part, whatever, like it maybe looks like 2 pieces were grown here or put here or just appeared here or manifested here, and one grew faster than the other, causing the other piece to be kind of lodged atop another like spire of one, while the other one spread until it's lost all its vitality and is just sitting there, surrounded by a bunch of spent terrazine.
Well, I wonder if our
It's a trap.
But you said it's blue?
Acres.
You said it's blue?
There is
Yeah.
a small piece of blue terrazine atop, like what almost looks like a cactus of other spent terrazine that's kind of like attached to one side of it. Like 2 pieces were thrown, one hit the ground first, and then forced the other one up before it could actually spread.
Yeah. So
Emers's
If they were thrown.
experimental.
Could have just be naturally occurring.
I'll relay that.
could try and.
It's like Nevada for Emrys. This is his weapons testing.
Well, no. But I was just. Pernilla's told us that she's been here before with him. That's why we were coming here initially.
The Crystal Brand told you that they do.
Yeah.
They do terrazine growth
out
here
here.
on places.
I'm
that
going to
they're
say this.
allowed.
They said that we need spent terrazine to contain terrazine.
Yes.
Right.
We could get our hands on spent terrazine and actual terrazine here.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's possible. You're also, quite a few of you are exhausted.
Oh, yeah.
No,
No,
yeah.
we're sleeping.
No.
You gonna
it's-
sleep here?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, we're
that's
gonna
not
get some sleep now. Yeah.
that's not going anywhere. But Shakara, if something happens and that little shard goes off, wake us up, please.
Point of order. Sand is matter. Should there be a storm, wind, and sand shifts during the night, any sand that touches the terrazine that is not completed starts to make it spread and could make it grow, but it most likely will be stuck to it.
Pretty far away.
Like there's like
If
thing.
it's blue, it wouldn't, because sand is an organic matter.
Correct, because terrazine is most of the time green. That is
From what we know, the blue.
good catch.
From what we know, the blue only reacts to living matter.
It does look like it is blue,
So we should be safe.
which makes sense that this probably was put here, not grown here. Well, who knows?
The only one we know that knows of that color is Emrys. Because he used it.
And
Well,
whatever
and,
took the
Oh,
the
yeah,
bar,
that's right. It wasn't
the-
Emrys. It was.
That
No,
one
Emerson's
guy.
used it too, but
whatever the
He used it on himself.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because remember, that's how he killed himself in your house, at your family's house.
when the orator
Yeah.
Yeah,
was
that's-
being controlled or
Controlled.
something with like those weird bug fleshy things that were attached to
They
his
use blue
temples.
as well.
They used blue dust on Shakar.
Yeah.
Which now that's why Zemdack has this big old scar on his face, because it went right into his face.
Well, yeah, because he decided to trip and
Hey,
Because
it
I'm
was
a
totally
He
worth
decided to trip.
it. It was totally worth it to get a fun core.
Yeah.
You gotta go
Burn
without
your
it.
face off.
Okay, well, I say we
Well,
deal
his,
with that
his,
in the morning.
his
after you
dice
guys-
decided to trip.
Okay.
Agreed.
Meaning that if, it stands to reason then that whatever else was thrown here wasn't blue, but perhaps a piece of green and a piece of blue. And the green grew and then caused the blue to just attach to it, because blue is still matter, right?
Right.
And it's not spent.
Right.
Meaning it would still attach to it, maybe not turn it into the other. So now you've also learned how both colors interact with each other.
We infer. We don't know.
You infer. You'd have to do, yeah. So this could be fun. So I'm excited. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so you guys going to bed?
Yeah.
You
do
see,
the
so
thing you said?
you that's the information that you get from Shakar, and you are able to relay that to.
How much water did they use?
How much water? I would say That at the very least, each of you need to use a gallon of water a day in order to survive.
Okay.
Having said that, if any of you should suffer a point of exhaustion, you would have to use an extra gallon in order to survive. Meaning if you get 2 points of exhaustion, you have to use 3 gallons of that day. Whether you get it or a point of exhaustion persists, it just has to do with that. If it came from the previous day or you got it that day, that's how many gallons. We're just going to keep it a 1-to-1 to make sense of it. So you guys used
10 gallons.
10 gallons of water today, which is probably all the water you had. If I remember correctly from what you...
It's only one spell, one first level spell.
Yeah, it's one first level spell, but I think you only have containers to really have that much on.
Well, besides like our water skins and stuff like that.
Yeah, which I believe only have like a quart of water in them.
Yeah, I think so.
So if you want to cast it
I'm
again
gonna
before you go to
replenish, yeah.
sleep, you can. Yeah, and refill up your stuff. Yeah, it sucks here, guys. It's not great. I mean, it's beautiful. It's absolutely stunningly gorgeous, but it's also just as dangerous. So no undead sightings. As far as you've been quite lucky. Granted, the maw is a massive expanse, so who knows? Also, who knows what's lying right beneath your feet
But
right now?
we have a solid
Stone
thing.
floor.
Stone floor.
See, nice moves.
Uh-huh.
See, because all it takes is you to dig up just a foot of too much before something that's been there for who knows how long.
All of a
comes up
sudden,
and
it's
tries
got
to-
access now.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, that's all it takes. So good thinking. Well done. You guys can now, if there's nothing else, can go to bed tonight and long rest.
Do I need to do anything?
Yes. Now that you have access to an open sky and the telemetry is connected and you have a strong Wi-Fi connection,
Connection reestablished.
you have a
Yes.
strong satellite phone connection. Yes, please roll something for
And
me.
he cast his thing.
Yeah. That doesn't do anything.
Oh, the intellect fortress doesn't do anything now. Okay. I don't know that though. So
So I don't get advantage.
Just a straight roll.
You also have the brain.
But I do have the brain.
Doesn't appear to be something that is trying to control your mind. This is just a matter of fact now. It's just part of you.
I'm going to use the brain brooch.
Okay.
An improvement.
Because this isn't. I. That's why I did not specify. This is no longer intelligence saving throw.
It's never been intelligent.
Okay, cool. This is just a luck check. But I give you that because of some sort of things. The Mind Fortress no longer affects this. This is just straight luck check. Just tell me what the number is.
Then would I have been able to re-roll with the
Brain brooch wouldn't have helped either because that's intelligence wisdom.
yeah.
No, no, it's just straight roll. Tell me what it
So
was.
the
The first one. What was the first one?
it was a 6.
6. Okay. So I don't want to spoil too much. So just roll with me here. You re-enter that space that you had found with. Right, we have a thing for this now. You re-enter the
It's very exciting.
the dream space that you had been in. Now in the Rubicund Plateau with carved a relief out of the side of a cliffside of like Monument Valley is this dog.
You can see him kind of on the camera.
Yeah.
This wolf statue that appears. There are some other buildings here, kind of like huts and other bits that have been either carved or built that are reminiscent of some of your old architecture from when you grew up with your tribe. Gaul is still here. Pinky's still here. There has been a little bit more construction. It looks like they've built what looks like kind of like aqueduct because this is now tiered. The area here, the town here is now tiered. All of the stuff is in the same orientation it was before, but most of that is not on a platform. But now like an aqueduct is being built so that there's part of the town that's up on the higher tier, middle tier, and low tier. And there's other kinds of stuff that's kind of being filled in. There's vegetation. You still have the paddock with the people here. The vibe smells like home, but the look is more like Twilight-esque, and it feels like the same type of feeling if you ever played Breath of the Wild, where you're like walking through the new lost forest, the way they did it, and it's kind of like foggy a little bit, and it's just like boop, 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 boop. And it just feels like there's things moving throughout the air, but there's not a lot. Like you don't know where the periphery of your vision may end, or like where the end of this town may end, and you're not sure if you stray too far, if you'll just end up back on the other side like Pac-Man. You don't really know. But that's where you are. Doesn't appear like too much has changed other than the construction of this aqueduct.
I'm gonna go to Gaul.
Okay.
Is Pinky nearby?
You don't think so. You look around. You don't see Pinky presently.
So you, what's up?
Oh, hey. Yeah, we're just working on this. Working on making expansions so that we can have like tiered living. Isn't that awesome?
I mean, it's looking pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's been a while since we had something like that. So, and then we're like, we have to bring water back up and forth and all that jazz.
Still talking to the wolf?
Yeah. Still a little glitchy, but nothing new. Same old.
How have things been with Pinky?
I think he's fine. Able to say a couple first words. Can do some like say yes, no, above, below, before, after, like some single word directions and help like responses and communications.
Is he doing it out loud or is he doing it in your? It's all in there. Okay.
He tries to ask. He tries to wave me down and ask if he can get in before. But if he can't, if he can't get my attention, which happens because I'm oblivious half the time. So then he'll just do it.
Did we ever add cells to the fortress, like prison cells?
Like an oubliette or like a break or something like that?
Somewhere to like keep someone from roaming freely.
I don't think so, but we can. Did you plan on... Have I been a bad boy?
Not you. I mean, more than normal. But...
Right.
I think... I'm worried about Pinky.
Oh, he's fine. I mean... I wouldn't worry about him. He's being fed really well.
Poutine?
Well, yeah. I mean, I like poutine.
And he likes poutine.
Yeah, he likes the ketchup and cheese bit more.
Is he feeding on anything else?
I mean, we don't really have to eat here, but...
But just is he... Have you noticed it, like, how friendly has he been with the giraffes and the sheep?
He'll brush them every couple weeks or so.
Do any go missing after he brushes them?
I don't think so. But, I mean, some of them just appear. So the numbers of how many there are at any given time, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not something I can really keep track of. I think it's you.
I mean, you're not wrong, but I'm not like...
You ever count sheep before you sleep?
I can only get so high before, like, I kind of forget
I
where...
think ever many you count show up.
That makes sense. But, Brig...
Sure, yeah.
But don't let Pinky know that you're making it.
It's a surprise.
Yeah.
I get it. It's that type of dungeon.
You went there.
I'm Gaul. I'm literally a mirror reflection of Log. If anything, I'm acting very well.
In the future, it becomes a problem.
Yeah, okay, yeah, sure, it's me that went there.
You went
Yeah, I'm just a reflection of Cody.
Of Log. I mean, it'll serve the same purpose, yeah.
All right, yeah, sure, we can start on that.
But make sure that it's something that, he wouldn't be able to get out of himself. You know, like just like. There is no safe word.
That they know about, right?
Right. Just
Cool. Yeah.
they're just gonna be, but like I said, keep it secret until it's done.
All right. Cool.
So, yeah, how else has it been?
No ripcord. You got it.
Yeah.
It's been all right. It was weird when you left.
I mean, it's
We all kind of passed out for a second.
this most recent time.
Yeah. Well, last time you talked to the big statue.
Yeah, they showed me. That's why I'm worried about Pinky's, because they showed me something.
Oh.
And there was one of the things that Pinky is doing bad shit.
Yeah.
Not that, like, actual, like,
Oh.
evil shit. Not that kind of bad shit. Like you
Not
know,
like.
not like, whoosh, but like,
Not. Thank
like,
you.
like, you know,
Yeah,
like,
okay.
yeah.
Not bad shit you thank someone about. Right.
Right, yeah. So,
Yeah, I
So
mean,
that's
it
why
was,
I'm worried.
We didn't feel good when you left. We all like kind of like fell backwards and almost fell asleep, but also couldn't move. But then it didn't last long. But
Did anything change
things have
after?
been weird, so I just said, yeah, I guess that happened.
but did anything change from then to when you woke up?
No, I don't think so.
Did the wolf statue start acting differently after
It's been
that?
quieter.
Quieter.
Yeah. I mean, it only talks when you talk to it.
And so
But
you just haven't been
It
talking
doesn't
to it
answer
much.
as many questions as before. Sometimes it just goes, bop, bop.
Does it keep calling shit classified?
Sometimes. I don't know. I stopped asking a bunch of questions because once you started taking over, I'm like, great. I don't have to be a number and a letter anymore.
Does it still call you that?
If it addresses me, yeah.
I'm gonna try and talk to it again.
Go ahead.
But like I said,
You want a snack?
yeah, I'll take some poutine.
Poutine.
Yeah. Got any beer with that?
A beer.
All right. No. Oh wait.
Yeah.
So okay, Brig.
Yeah.
It's a secret.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Brig, secret.
Cheers.
Pinky can't know.
Don't know about the secret.
And yeah, it's you can't be able to escape from it.
Got it. No
Impenetrable.
ripcord, no safe word.
Exactly. All right, I'm gonna go talk to the wolf.
All right, you do that.
All right.
I'm gonna sit here and drink.
Okay, but then Brig after.
Right,
that.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. But I mean, I have this now because you made it real, so I have to drink it.
I mean, you know,
It's break time now. Go.
It's alcohol abuse not to. So okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's abusive. Go ahead.
All right. So I'll go out and
Yeah, sure.
to the wolf.
No abusing the alcohol.
So you walk up to this like monumental totem type thing carved into the wall, the cliffside.
I'm back.
Correction, you are Log.
Yes, I am. I am Log, and I have returned. So who are you? Again?
CDEF 29. Designation.
Right. I knew that. So like Tweg and you, the foster program, Tweg. I can see me through him now. Is that because of you?
Designation. Metaphysical manifester. Appendment. foster program with foster.
Okay, yeah, we've done this before. Shit. Okay, so I saw what you showed me last time. It was pretty fucked up. Are you... Are you a squid fucker?
Analysis. Squid. Cephalomorph-like individual resides mostly in saltwater oceans. Fucker. Slang term for copulation.
No, yeah, I don't...
This platform does not engage in copulation of cephalomorphs.
Are you what Pinky is?
I'm so proud of that. Okay, go ahead.
Are you what Pinky is? Are you the same
Designation. Seed F29. Non-cephalomorphic entity.
Are you controlled by the cephalomorph?
Error. Access denied.
Fuck. Who controls you?
Administration privileges have not been granted to this individual.
Well, fuck you.
Limited gateway privileges have been granted to object of foster program.
The fuck does that mean? All right. What is reintegration?
Define. Prompt. Reintegration. When an object, person, place, or thing, preferably noun, is put back into a place in which it currently or previously belonged. Possibly be a behavior, anatomic, or otherwise.
Reverse indoctrination.
Define reverse indoctrination. Process in which individuals' behavior is corrected to assimilate a more moral construct of society.
Why are you doing that to Pinky?
Subject Pinky behavior has been deemed as redeemable.
He was fine how he was. Like we played charades. Like he was, we'd have beers and like what he's like. Why you gotta do that?
You asked a machine to think emotionally. It does not have a response. It just goes like. In dial-up tone.
Invalid query. Question not understood.
Bonk. Syntax error.
Yeah, exactly.
It just shuts down and falls over.
The feature you have access is not available.
Oh no, that's exactly what happens. It goes bang, boom, 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 and it just falls on top of you, and you wake up. Okay, so the next day, it's technically not still the next day, but you guys do wake up around the late afternoon of the 3rd. What's up? Oh yeah, we gotta do that.
If we're waking up, then
It's still night
I
out.
thought we had some lighting here. Hold on.
We do have a special
We do have
lighting,
desert lighting. We do have desert
you
lighting.
gotta remember to do the thing though.
but it for
And it
very
has special cameras.
Yeah, for special days.
Ah. But we'll just keep it like this for now because it's a little annoying, so we'll do it in a moment. Come on. Press the button.
Is that with the filter?
It's like
that's
like
that's with
every
the filter.
horror movie with a setting. Oh, we'll
It's
just
been a
turn
while,
it
I
up.
couldn't
We'll just
remember.
turn up the heat for just a minute to kill the thing.
So this is what it looks like without it. It's not working. That's okay. Here, I'll do this button.
Told you he's trying to kill us with the sun.
That's what it looks like without.
It's been a while, so I couldn't remember.
Yeah, it's okay. But yes, anyway, you guys wake up in the afternoon of the 3rd. What is it you're intending to do?
We don't lose our exhaustion, right?
You did get a long rest. So those of you that did have 1 point of exhaustion are ameliorated of that 1 point of exhaustion. It does require you you guys did a pretty good job of making sure that your comfort during your sleep was good in order to get a good long rest. So those types of rest would be able to ameliorate a point of exhaustion. So, yeah.
Can we get some spent kerosene, please?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's go.
Pretty please.
So you guys start to pack up. You close the dome out.
Go scavenge.
The little abode that you've left there, forever now a testament and a monument to your presence there as you move on. Traverse the dunes just a couple hundred feet away before you finally
That will be good for other people.
reach over the embankment of the dunes and see this just
into the sand
acres.
buries them
Like
again.
I would say maybe 2-ish acres of just crystallized and formed sand into terrazine. And in the center, almost dead center of this area, is a larger pillar of spent terrazine that kind of goes up to be about maybe 12 feet tall. And a small blue crystal with only like 2 bits protruding out of it, like in this fashion. One longer one short one, like maybe a 40-degree angle. On like about off the side and near the tip of this pillar. Not really pillar, but it's all jagged and bullshit. What do you guys do?
Take a handful of sand, throw it at the spent.
You throw a handful
the
of sand.
edge.
Throw it. You see the sand kind of settle in beneath the cracks of the crystal, and you see it there for a moment. You wait, and you wait. You just see ever so imperceptibly some of the grains of sand become more crystallized. You understand how spent terrazine works is in the way of it spreads until it slows down, it slows down, it slows down, it slows down, it slows down until it's spreading into the point where it is spreading so imperceptibly slow. It's like a half-life.
Yeah.
It reaches an asymptote, but it never really truly stops. So if you had a piece of spent terrazine that you keep in your bag for years and years, it might start to spread onto other things. But spent terrazine has been manufactured, especially, has been made so as like unless several years pass, it's not going to start spreading onto things. But this one hasn't really quite gotten there yet. It appears that if something is touching it for maybe a minute or two, it just ever so slightly begins to spread. And if you sit there and wait, like watching paint dry at the edge of this thing, you see it slowly grab a grain, and then grab a grain, and then grab a grain. It's very, very slow. Something where if you like moved quickly across it would not affect you.
I could have Bagok go out and maybe climb the thing, get the...
Well, we don't
want
need
the building.
Fuck. Bagok is not matter.
we already have
I hate this.
we already have blue. I don't know that we need.
But we can have more blue.
We could. We could also just get some more spent terrazine. I feel like it's a
Or
lot nicer.
we could get both.
But where are we going to put it in besides spent terrazine?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Just focus on the blue stuff, because that seems like the...
Can't we put the spent terrazine in
fabricate
like?
spent terrazine?
I don't see why not. It's a raw material, so
Well,
we could certainly
couldn't
turn
we-
it into things.
That's,
Couldn't you? Could you like fabricate some like glass jars or something like that for us to put the spent terrazine into?
Yeah, I mean nothing too fancy, but if as long as you know the god pharaoh says it's okay.
How's the God
Don't
Pharaoh have to do with
reference
it?
me directly.
The God Pharaoh has only the power you give him.
I don't want to spend all day. I just was hoping to grab some spent terrazine because we can use it and keep going.
We can,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, we
I
can.
would rather save your fabricate ability for camp at night because that is extremely useful.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because then I can get it back. If we rest a little bit, I can get that little mountain magic back. Yeah. So it's up to you guys if you want to hang out for another hour. 10 minutes.
I mean, I was just
Thought you were trying to grab our attention.
no. I was just stemming over here.
Because how would you be able to make like some sort of container otherwise? with
Yeah.
it?
Bag, fill it with sand, dig some of it out, put the terrazine in the center, tie it up.
It'll eventually grow past it, but
It'll eventually fill the sand, but
Then you just have a lot of spent terrazine, though.
You could-
does anyone have a problem with this?
But how much sand do you think you actually need?
I was
How much
thinking we could
do we?
use the live terrazine in the spent terrazine.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm.
Magic.
If it's like the blue that we've seen before, it shouldn't react to the sand.
But do we need more blue?
Yes.
Do we need more terrazine? Is the question.
I think it's dangerous taking it with us.
Always.
I mean, I know that
Dangerous
we can make drugs
leaving
out
it here
of it.
too.
But you could do something with it because you have spent terrazine.
Yeah. You could also take some.
Terrazine in any form, you guys have realized, is amazing as a catalyst.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can just feed the jar that we already have and get more blue.
True. Yes. Then what? Yeah.
Granted, a potent piece like this would mean exponentially more blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but
And also knowing that even the crystal brand doesn't know that the blue exists. Fuck.
They didn't say that they knew.
They
blue
didn't say. Nice catch. They didn't say they knew that.
they actually got very cagey whenever you mentioned any other color.
I'm thinking that's more danger than we want to mess with at the moment.
What do you think about?
If you guys want to go grab it, grab it. But
Well, I'm not gonna go grab it. I'm gonna have Bagak go
grab
grab it.
Yeah, I think like taking it wouldn't be a bad thing.
Okay.
Either.
Bagok needs to be how close to you in order for Bagok to continue to? I think it's like 60 feet, right? Meaning you would have to walk on there as well. You'd be fine as long as you move quickly. But it's like crunch, crunch, ow, crunch, ow. It's like walking on like barnacles and stones with bare feet. It doesn't feel.
It's like rocking on crystals with bare feet.
Yeah, yeah. But it's not bare feet, but it's that sharp and annoying that it feels like it's bare feet from your feet.
So yeah, it would have to be within 60 feet of me.
Yeah, so you would have to go on there as well. But he would be able to grab it, probably, yeah. Because he's not matter.
Well, I can just mage hand a bunch of sand wherever I'm going to step.
Mage hand sand, wherever. Yeah, you could. I mean, granted, it's not level. It's jagged and crazy. Like
he's walking inside of a giant geode.
inside of a geode. That's pretty much like a flat geode. And so it sucks. So throwing sand is just going to have it filter down into the smallest cracks. It's not going to just sit on top.
What do you think?
Chisel, chink, chink, cut off some
spent terrazine.
fist dies.
Yeah, you can get as
Crystals.
much of this as you want.
I don't. So
There's acres of it.
taking a sack, filling it with sand, like having somebody place that in there with the mage hand, and then
Cool,
more
yeah.
sand,
And then just kind of like shove it into the sand to
Yeah.
have like an insulation. Yeah, sure, absolutely. You can absolutely do that. You want to like what? Grab? You said 2 fistfuls of it.
yeah, like 2 fist-sized crystal, like softball-sized crystals.
You got it. Easily done.
What do you think about grabbing some and then basically turning it into weaving? Because we've seen it woven into other things, right? As far as like shielding, stuff like that. What about interweaving it with fabric or armor or something, and then that way we're also protected from.
If somebody hits you,
Yeah, if somebody
Or-
hits you, and also magical protection.
You make a terrazine-proof suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, or cloaks.
could
and
work.
then-
I mean,
well,
the crystal
it'd make
brand.
it would make it harder for what's their faces to see us that way too.
Crystal brand. I mean, yeah, their brand on there works like that too. Should they need to, their breastplate detaches if they need to use it as a shield to deflect a piece of terrazine that is errant.
I have an old shield.
There are. I mean, I don't think any of you have seen it. Well, no.
I mean, you could.
Well, they're discussing I'm
fabricate
summoning
a
Bagak.
staff on a spent terrazine and put the crystal at the top.
Bagok.
And then you could have a crazy channeler.
That you can touch things with.
Plus, you're also channeling
Go
light
get it.
through it.
That's true.
Yeah.
So you
That would be
walk across.
Plus,
it's
you can stab
very.
someone
It's,
with it.
I'm
it feels
like
horrible.
I'm like doing like the hot coal, like walking on hot coals thing. I'm like
Yeah,
trying to not
That
like
could
step
be-
any.
Yeah,
That
it's
could
not
be
great,
nice.
but you're
Yeah.
fine. You see Log over there now 60 feet from the thing as the blue piece just detaches from the pillar.
See the blue piece attached.
Yeah, the blue piece just detaches from the pillar and is floating in the air.
I have the other insect jar if you want to put it in there.
Bagok, put it in there.
We should make bullets.
Bagok.
We should make bullets for your gun with terrazine. Put it in the encased.
Oh
terrazine.
my god. Fuck, what have I done? That's some world-ending shit. Oh my god! All you have to do is shoot a town, and then town is gone. Well, it's blue though.
Yeah.
It's
So that's an
one
insta
hit,
kill. It's an
fucking.
insta kill.
But it has to pierce the armor,
And
Have
it
you hit him in
has-
the face?
yes.
or shoot.
You know,
Yeah, I mean, like, well, that's always a
But
one hit.
you have
but
like
yeah.
Security 4 who's made out of organic armor.
Ironwood. I don't know
Well,
if
ironwood
counts
is a little bit more complicated than that, but you're on the right track. Yeah, there are parts of the anatomy that are a little bit more organic than others. Yeah. So yeah, ironwood technically yes is organic, but it's a little wibbly wobbly because it's kind of halfway through. Both core and
So,
organic.
do we want to just get to like a bunch and then we can think about it over the day and then I can fabricate something super
Explain to me
later?
again this jar. You had a jar made out of spent terrazine?
The insect jars
Yeah.
There's glass jars.
that are just glass, the big glass
Yeah.
jars.
And what did you have in it before?
bugs.
No, I was saying he could put the spent
the blue
into
the jar.
Oh, right, because the glass is not an organic material.
Yes.
We could even.
That's how we have the other blue.
Yeah, I was
That's
thinking
why we
like, yeah,
have-
you throw it in there and then.
No,
That's why we have the ninja stars.
the other blue is in the other.
Right,
insect.
in the other one. Okay, yeah, so you'll have 2 jars of
blue terrazine.
blue terrazine. Yeah, you can
One
do so.
super potent, one.
And
We don't
it's
go
not like
back
we-
to the razor fang for a
Well,
while.
it's okay. It's not like we didn't hand that bag over
With-
to
with-
the crystal brand.
You've seen terrazine spread. Granted, you've only seen blue terrazine spread on organic materials. From what you're kind of gathering here, blue terrazine doesn't seem to be as potent as green terrazine. It's a little bit more precise, like scalpel-esque, meaning it wouldn't probably spread as much if it was given, for example, a creep, a whole land of organic material. It wouldn't probably spread as much before it lost its vitality. However, it is very precise, and you can hit what you want.
It's great.
With how much the
Should
blue
drop it in
terrazine
the
has
garden.
grown on the stuff that you put it on there, its vitality has only been marginally affected.
Okay.
So they're both pretty much both pieces of full. What
Cool.
you got? You got 2 pieces of mostly full
Blue
stuff.
terrazine?
Yeah, blue terrazine. And you have 2 softball size pieces.
Does anyone else want spent terrazine?
Yeah, let's get a lot of that shit.
And if so,
Yeah.
how do you want to carry it?
You can fit more in the sack with the sand. You can fit a lot more. In it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean as much as would.
I'll say
Reasonably
if you want 2 cubic feet of spent terrazine, you can get it in that sack being insulated by sand.
Okay.
Like a nice 2-foot cube
Yep.
of just
How
like
soon
enough
before
of
all
it
the
where you
sand
chip
is
off enough
consumed?
and you throw the pieces in there. You can get quite a lot.
Think about.
There's
Okay.
acres of it here, and the sack is like a backpack, like a rucksack that you have that you can fill with sand. Throw
Yeah,
enough in
that's
there.
going. That's going in the hole.
Into something.
Spent terrazine. Now this isn't fully spent terrazine, so by the next time you pull it out, some of the sand might have been turned.
That was the point of.
Yeah,
As long
that's-
as you don't hold it in your hand for long periods of time
Yeah.
or have it against your person for long periods of time. For example, a roll of the dice down the line may be like, is your bag wet? Like, what is that? And it will like just part of the bag just looks like it's becoming glass or crystal and everything, but it won't. But you'll be able to notice it before it starts to like touch your back or anything like that. It may be something someone might spot along the line a while from now, but yeah, you'll have a lot of material to fuck with and mess around with. Spent terrazine itself is a more of a conductor than a catalyst, but can be used for a lot of the things that you've seen before. Protection from divination, magical resistance, magical catalytic, but things that are charged are far better at giving out energy for magical catalyst purposes. That's why like a lot of Magitech have like actual non-spent terrazine cores to and there's just like a spell is put into it and it just perpetuates or however they do it. Like a battery.
Here's a healing ball.
Cool.
As long as you don't touch anybody.
Anything else?
Are there any signs of who did this or how this came about?
If there were any signs, the terrazine has covered up acres. So it would be very difficult. And so have the winds and the sands. The desert is a perfect place for a crime because everything
see-
gets swept away.
Do we see anything like the shape of what might have been a creature or something like that?
Oh,
in
if
the
anything
terrazine?
was caught in here, go ahead and roll an investigation or perception. I'll say perception because unless you want to start to hop on top of it and actually sort through stuff.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
9 plus 9 is 18.
I'll say you see like a bearded dragon that probably got caught in here, but other than that, nothing else.
Poor bud.
Yeah.
There's a dragon in there, bearded one, but
That's a lizard.
they're called bearded dragons.
That's a lizard.
So after you guys just start arguing about this bearded dragon and lizard, you gather up some terrazine and you begin your trek for the day. That's where we're going to take our break. Guys, we'll be back in a bit. Thanks for staying with us and stay safe out there. Bye.